Yo, what up, people? My name is Lewis Lee. I'm from All Ends Media, and this is Planning Traffic, which we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So tell your peoples that we do this and talk about cars, boats, trucks, gas, anything you put gas in, we talk about it. We got the fellas in the chat room, and we have a special guest coming on. She was on a couple months ago, and for some reason, Crowdcast did not did not record it. So I invited her back on so we can get her all back up and on recording, and then we can share it on YouTube, which YouTube is live right now. So if you are watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe because it will help us out. We're trying to get our numbers up over there. So tell your people to check us out. We got a lot of videos on there that you can go back and look at. And we got some pretty good guests coming in the next couple weeks. Ron Capps, super race car driver. He'll be on maybe next week or the week after. Depends on his travels. So we'll have him on. And we have Shag from Iron Restoration. He'll be coming on in a couple weeks. So we got some things lined up. It's going to be cool. Let's see who we got in the chat room. Papa Squirrel, how you doing tonight? Jim? Keith? Hopefully everything's all good with everybody. Waiting on a couple more people to get into the chat room, and then Rae, she should be getting on. She's traveling right now, so she's in her car. So she's gonna hit us in the car. So Terry, Coverman 66, got some stuff popping too. Hopefully he'll jump on tonight and tell us what's going on with him. Whole bunch of exciting stuff happening, even though we're still partly locked down. But everything will be good soon, I hope. Papa Square, how are you doing out there in California? Are they easing up on you guys? They said no, huh? Well, it's a good thing you're not in the major cities. Have to deal with them idiots. So Papa Squirrel, if you call and make a reservation somewhere, just say you're Nancy Pelosi. You can get in. How's it going, Brian? Waiting on a couple people. Waiting on Rae and Rae. So as soon as they pop in, then we'll get it popping. How's it going, Brian? How's it going down there in your neck of the woods? Oh, I don't know if Rae got his internet back up or not. He was on last week, though. Well, they might be able to get in. Tell you, I've been watching Rae, her Instagram, man. She is really talented. If you get a chance, go check her out on Instagram. I think she has a YouTube channel too. Or not YouTube, Facebook. So go check her out, man. She's putting it down. She's doing a big mural on a building. It's coming out pretty nice. Hold on 1 second. Oh, Jim, you missed last week? Oh, so you'd rather watch Trump than come hang out with us. I see. Actually, I got off and watched a little bit of it too. It was pretty good. So we're just waiting for some more people to jump in. I'll pull some people on screen. Yeah, that's true. So I'll give you a little update on my garage shop. I almost got my bench all done. I keep adding stuff, as I'm working on it. I find something else I want to do to it, so that's slowing me up. But I should have the shop pretty much put together this weekend, I hope. Then I get some leather done. I have a couple projects I need to get done for some people, and then I'm going to start on Consuela. I'm going to tear it apart, and start tweaking on that. Terry probably should have my LS. It should have arrived today, I hope. We'll see if he comes on. I wonder if Ray's service is, she's driving I think she said Louisiana. Let's see. Yeah, Louisiana. Hopefully she can get on. If not, we'll have her back on. Ray had Keith on his radio show last week. It was a pretty good interview. If anybody had a chance to listen to it. Motor Mouth Radio, go check it out.
Hey, Lewis, what's up?
Another day in the big city.
Oh, man, you got that right. we just had some nasty storms go through here.
Really?
Yeah, we had a tornado touchdown not too far, and
oh boy,
man, just incredible weather out here, man. Incredible.
Tell you. We've been lucky here in Ohio. We usually get a little bit of it, like the rain part, but we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, it's been very hot and humid, and that just kicks up those thunderstorms this afternoon, and
yeah,
it's just nasty stuff. So, but hopefully, it's too bad it can't wash this virus gone. You know what I'm saying? So we can get back to real shit.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's like you can't even write this in a book.
Nah. It's the whole thing is so crazy.
And then you have one person saying one thing, and then the next day you're saying something different. You don't know which way to go.
Yeah,
wear a mask or not wear a mask.
I think that's the biggest problem. And like I said, everybody you talk to, they all kind of have like the same idea, but they still have like 4 or 5 other thoughts in there that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy. So,
yeah, for me, I've been steady working, and we blocked off a lot of the bus, and so we got distance and we wear a mask. Yeah. But we've been moving. Thank God, we've been still working, the whole time.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I mean, some guys, shut down, and I mean, I've been working throughout everything, and most about 90% of all my shops had stayed open through all of it. I
Yeah.
I had a few of the larger chain stores like NTB, Goodyear, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know, they kind of sent out things saying they didn't want any outsiders to come in. You know, no vendors. And I guess I was kind of lucky because a lot of those guys have said, "Shit, we've known you for 20 years," or
Yeah. You're not an
so
outsider.
just come on in, do your thing, and as long as you play by the rules,
Yeah. That's
So
good.
I've been really lucky, and some of the other guys weren't as lucky, and some of my competition, like I said, they said you're not supposed to be here, get out, and so I was pretty lucky. So,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's still
good.
kind of crazy though.
Yeah, it is. It's scary, man. Like Papa Squirrel said, they might be shut down till January.
Yeah,
Lockdown. You know, that's crazy. Everywhere else is opening up.
yeah. Yeah, and like I said, our governor just did a 360 because the day before school started, he said, the schools are supposed to be closed for virtual, and then of course, 24 hours before the school opens up, he says, "Oh, they're open, you can go." So.
Well, now people got to go buy school clothes.
Well, I mean, the county that I live in just basically said, "Sorry, we're doing it this way until Um, and they were going to keep it the way it was because they had the whole platform set up, for
Mhm.
that way. They just can't change it. But I think it was part of Trump telling them if you're not going to open the schools, send the people back their tax money. So everybody
Yeah.
freaks out when it's all about money now. So
Yep. That'll solve it real quick. Send the money
yeah,
back.
once they talk about giving money back, or especially since it's probably not even there anymore, they
Oh yeah.
can't manage it anyway. So
Yeah, they can't
oh
get it back
well.
from the strip club.
I don't know. It's all crazy, but I don't know. So, but it's just too bad. It was kind of funny. I always say during the wintertime, hopefully we have a good snow so that I can have some downtime and work on the
Yeah.
hot rod.
Yeah, that'd be
And
nice.
too bad with the lockdown, they just didn't shut everything, so we could have all sat around and worked on our hot rods. But
Right. Right. See, I was in the middle of a move, and so all my tools, everything's packed up. So,
yeah,
you know, and I redid the whole house. So that was my luck. You know, that worked out for me doing the house.
yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Are you able to find everything? I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine trying to move now. I can't even find anything now. I couldn't even imagine if I put it all in the box.
Well, it wasn't too bad because I had just moved to the condo 2 years ago. So I still had stuff in boxes.
Oh,
So it wasn't too bad.
was the condo just like a temporary thing, or was
Well,
that?
no, I was going to stay there. What happened was, you know, my wife has some medical issues, so we wanted to get her away from steps.
Oh,
And my back, you know, so me cutting grass and everything, we was like, oh, we'll go to a condo where we don't have to touch nothing, you know, we don't have to do anything. So then,
yeah.
you know, I started really looking at retiring in the next 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to make some different moves. So my aunt had this house, and it needed all redone.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, maybe I'll buy this house, you know, get it paid off in 2 or 3 years, and then I'll be pretty much debt free. You know, pay my cars off, and
Uh-huh.
then I can move towards retiring. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why we did that. I mean, we got steps again.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the virus didn't put you too far off on your plan of action. So I don't know.
No, it didn't. I mean, it did a little bit because all my talent agent stuff it was dead from no car shows.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's like my extra money that would have went towards paying the house off faster too. So yeah, it did slow me up a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I joked last year that 2020 was going to be my big year. I mean, I was really reinvesting in the business, doing a lot of stuff changing. And the first quarter was really great.
Yeah.
And then this came along, and I've still managed to move my numbers, but it's been difficult.
Yeah, it really changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so it's been crazy. Just one thing after another. And hopefully, of course, I refinanced, or not refinanced, but redid a lot of my, like you said, went through and did a lot of my retirement funds, 401s and everything. I changed a lot of stuff over because I was hoping maybe within the next 5 years,
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, hopefully, if Trump gets booted out, hopefully the market won't tank so bad that it screws all that up again. I finally got it where it was doing really good, or nice. So
yeah, it was.
I don't know.
It was popping. I was looking at it like, oh man, it's going to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's hitting everybody. It's not just the working guys. It's rich people, poor people.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Homeless people. Everybody's getting hit.
Yeah, I know. It's like I said. It's all like you said. You could never write this, or you could. I mean, this is like one of those weird movies. You just watch and say, "Who thinks of this shit?"
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I tell you, like January, man, my 401k was really hitting. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it was funny. I said maybe I should just change it. Cash out and change it and protect it some more. And the guy that my money man just told me, he goes, you got to let it ride. Don't even look at it. And I'm like, don't even look at it. Shit.
That's what I did, man. I took it off my phone because I had it on my phone.
Yeah,
like every couple of weeks, every couple of days, I'll check it.
Yeah.
So when all this happened, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the app off. I deleted it, and I don't even want to play with it.
Yeah, I did the same thing. That was and actually, for some reason on my phone, it came up. It always showed. I mean, it was like a small bar on there. It always showed up, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Keith.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey,
good,
Keith.
Good.
It was you were good on Ray's show last week. I heard you. It was real good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was that was the first time for everything type deal there. So
yeah.
I was a little nervous, but
you did good.
No, you did good. It's really it's
Ray's trying to get in, but for some reason he's not getting in. He's here.
Oh. Did he ever get his internet? I don't know if he got his internet fixed or not. I know he was still running off his phone.
I don't know, but he's in. I invited him in, so he's in limbo somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it was Sunday too. He froze up the one time, and we just kind of looked at each other and kept rolling with it. It was crazy.
I said it's fixed.
Yeah, he says it's fixed, but won't let him in.
Well, I had to go around and read. I wasn't getting any emails, so I had to sign back up and everything on this. So I don't know what happened.
Hey Ray, I'm gonna kick you out. Try reconnect it.
Yeah, he says he's going to go out and come back in.
All right. I found another system. I gotta test it out though. Sometime this week.
Oh,
Hopefully it'll work out for us. And I heard that Zoom's changing a couple things because the schools were having problems. People were jumping in and naked and all kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. I apologize.
Okay, Keith. This make sure you shave next time.
That's crazy.
So I'm gonna look at Zoom too, because if they changed it where I can control who's on the screen, I might jump over there.
Yeah, I think you can, because we've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings at work, and it's pretty cool. You can have video or not have video. There's a lot of different options. Now I don't know what it's like on the administrator side. What controls you have.
Right.
So
Well, some like this system here, like when we were on Blue Jeans, anybody that was in the chat room could jump on the screen. So we stopped using that because a while back we had a system where somebody was putting porn up and all kind of mess.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So we stopped using that because I couldn't control it. And I heard the other day that Zoom is changing it where the administrator will be able to do it.
There's Ray.
Hey, Ray.
There he is.
You open the door in influenza.
Yeah.
It says, no, you can't come in. And all of a sudden it says, okay, come on in.
And you got a good picture, too. You got the best picture on the screen.
Yeah.
Got my internet back.
Yeah.
Same old crappy camera, but, yeah.
No, it looked good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I was telling these guys that I have my shop done this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to start on the studio. I'm going to put together, a pretty good studio here at the house so
Nice.
I can really get back in the groove and stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about your woodworking skills on Sunday when Keith was on the show. We were, sometimes it takes me a couple days for something to sink in, and it did. I remember thinking like, damn, those freaking cabinets are gorgeous that Lewis built, man.
I
Quality.
appreciate it.
Very nice.
Yeah. If Lewis wants something, he'll look at it and he'll go build it. He blows my mind. He does that stuff all the time.
Yeah. Wait, look at my little slide outs I made.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
So they slide in and out.
On drawer tracks?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
to me, that's the most amount of fun when you get the bulk project done and then you start tweaking it and adding those little details. That to me is the best part of the project.
Yeah.
So I have 3 of those slide outs like that. So I'm gonna put all kind of stuff on them.
Yeah, cool.
That's awesome.
And then I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna paint the whole bottom half, and then it's gonna be. Hopefully, it'll come out pretty good.
Oh, shit, it's gorgeous already.
I found some good material to put on the top when I cut my leather and stuff. It's plastic, but I don't know what they use it for. I found it at Star Supply. It's a place here in Youngstown that all the guys go to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I found this plastic, so I'm gonna use that when I cut my leather and stuff like that on the top.
I'm still going to get you a piece of that rubber too, Lewis.
Okay, yeah.
I'll get you a piece of uncured rubber. Maybe if you leave it outside in the sun, or if you got a heat lamp or something, you can cure up a section of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Don't put it in the oven.
No.
Tracy won't like that.
Unless you're going to buy a new oven. That's
I just bought her one. She's done for a while.
I have a mat here on my desk, and I have one at work. I got 3 of them. It's made by a company called Alvin, Alvin, and it's green with a graph paper grid on it in inches, and it's down to a 1/4 inch. But you can cut on this thing with anything, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I got one over here on my table.
Yeah, very good to have. Really, really nice.
Yeah, they're real nice. They keep your blade sharp.
Yeah.
Yep.
And keeps your desk unscarred.
Yeah, and they're like self-healing almost.
Yeah, they self-heal. They're pretty cool. They're expensive. The big ones, like I bought one. It was like $60, man, for a pretty nice size one.
Yeah,
but they make them real big, like to cover your whole table.
Yeah, this one's like 2 foot by, I guess, what is it? 2 by
18?
Yeah, it's 2 by 10. It's 24 by 18.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right for here.
It's perfect right in front of you on the desk. It's a perfect size.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
So wait, where was I going with that story about my shop? Oh, the studio.
Oh.
So once I get the studio up, I'm gonna really push on YouTube. I need to get our numbers up because they open up a whole bunch of features once you get over like 1,000 subscribers, 2,000. Right. So I'm gonna really get on that and get it popping.
So on that note, I happen to be looking for another microphone that I want to use at work because I may have to do a couple of meetings there, and I'm trying to decide on what to invest in. And I don't want to go for a big amount of money in case somebody steals it out of my office.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Any suggestions? What do you like?
I forget the name of mine. Works pretty good. But see, I bought mine at the pawn shop. I was walking through, man, and he was just putting it out. I'm like, wow. I was like, how much is that? And he was like, I don't know. Well, as soon as he said that, it was done. I was like, look, man, don't even look. Let me give you a couple of bucks. I was out of there, man. It's a pretty nice mic. It's a.
And you never went back, right?
Yeah, I didn't give a chance to look it up.
Right.
I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, yours has the angled top on it. I think it looks like an Audio Technica, or it was another one with an A that made one with that.
Yeah,
it's like
top. Yeah. And I'm using the Yeti. I'm using the Yeti Blue, which is I love this mic. This one is fantastic for just about everything.
Those are pretty nice. That's probably what you should go with.
I was thinking about a Snowball, maybe a Yeti Snowball, just a smaller one.
Yeah, my son Lewis has one of those.
Right.
Yep.
We need the Matco microphones. Is what we need, Brian.
Yeah, well, we could buy one and I'll put a sticker on it.
All right.
If you're going to wait for our marketing department, you got a long wait.
Right.
Hey, everything's going towards streaming, man. They better kick it up a notch.
And I tell you something, I was wearing my Matco tie-dyed shirt. Every time I wear that shirt, people ask me, hey, man, where'd you get that tie-dyed shirt? That's a cool tie-dye. I'm like, that's custom made, man. You can't
find those.
That's custom handmade.
Yeah, that's made with love right there.
It's amazing, what garners attention and comments. And then you could be out, you could have like the most expensive shirt or jacket or hat, and people just look right past you. Like,
Yep.
So that's cool. I like when that happens.
So, Ray, tell us a little bit about the interview of that famous artist you had on last week.
Yeah, I tell you, man, we found this guy in an alley, and he was like doing some paintings. We said, "You got to come on the show, man."
You found him in the pawn shop, right?
Yeah, he was behind the pawn shop.
The only problem was, like Keith said, I didn't have my internet yet. So what I was doing was using like I did last week, I used my cell phone and tethered it to the computer so I could use all the computer stuff. And I learned something. When I do that, I cannot activate the phone number to use the phone calls, because that's what happened. We got a phone call. It just bounced me. It took all the system resources and just said, okay, video gone. So everything just died on me. And then but luckily, doing a show with Chris is my long-term, I started doing a show with him back in 2004, and he's actually a radio professional. That guy's actually gotten paid to do radio where, I haven't. So,
well, we need to change that. You got to get paid.
You know what? I've gotten paid with the friendships that I've made, and guys like you, the guys that I know that I can call friend, that now I can call on a phone, and it goes both ways. Like, you need a favor, you need advice. To me, you can't pay for that. You really, because if you're buying it, then it's only temporary. It's like, okay, your service call is up, goodbye. Friends,
true.
Whatever. So I've really gotten rich in that regard. Chris is a pro, and we talked about it beforehand. That I said, listen, if for some reason if I disappear, just carry on, soldier.
Well, that's what we did. Chris and I, we both kind of like looked at each other, and he's like, and then he just started right in, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was in the middle of a thought. I was either in the middle of a sentence or a thought or something, and I just went dead. So, I mean,
that felt like you were here, huh?
Yeah, and you know what? But I can tell people that's live media, and just like people can Zoom bomb you, and they can, if you're out at an event, I'm sure you've had this happen. The guys that come behind you, in front of you, and try and screw you up. I mean, it's just part of the deal. So it's just you just kind of roll with it, and you can't take yourself too seriously, and you just say, listen, we'll make it work. That's all.
Well, I hope your ratings didn't go down.
And no, I don't think so. No, I did get some feedback. People, you know what? Like I said, on our show, we have embraced everything. I mean, mostly automotive and motorcycle, I guess repair and engineering wise related. That's kind of the crux. But, we obviously delve into music and art. Now, this is kind of a new little thing we got going on here. And Chris is a cartoonist. So he actually made some money back in the day doing cartoons. I'll show you something.
We know you got it. Keith, if you haven't noticed, Ray has everything right there in hand's reach.
And
I
Brian,
have noticed.
and Brian's my backup. You know,
Yeah,
Chris,
Brian got the rest of it.
we used to have on our website many years ago. Chris did caricatures of us, and then I asked him to just take that caricature of me and put it on my Impala.
Nice.
You know, and he did another one of me on my Pontiac on the GTO, and it's just, you know, that's his talent. Like I said, I always went more the technical side. I did mechanical drawing, drafting, very technical, detailed stuff. That's my deal.
Yeah.
I've tried to sketch and freehand, and you know what? I might as well try using my left hand. You know, it's just.
It's funny. My brother's an architect, and he gets mad because I could draw a straight line freehand, and he even messes up with his rulers and all his stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he goes,
Yeah,
"Man,
yeah.
I hate you. I don't know how you can sit there and just pick up a pencil and start drawing." You know, but you know he does all that, and it's kind of funny when I get him wound up on that.
That's the thing. See, I'll sketch, like if I want to take bend some metal or, you know, make a bracket or something, I can sketch that out because I understand, you know, I can do 3D and I can, you know, I mean, sometimes it doesn't come out perfect, but I get the idea. And this way I can dimension it. So I can do that. But yeah, everybody's got, you know, their own gig. And luckily I see my younger daughter kind of took after that. And she's been doing a lot of, I thought I had it here. Lettering and all freehand stuff. My older one paints. She ended up just all of a sudden out of the clear blue, she learned how to paint flowers and vines. So she did like across her whole doorway in her room and you know, started doing glassware and selling this stuff at craft fairs, and is pretty damn good at it. And then the younger one kind of went more my way and does more of a technical thing and fine line. So I was showing her your work, Keith, and I was showing her on the phone. And she's like, "Wow, that's like really nice." I'm like, "Wait till you see the real piece." I said,
Yeah,
"You gotta find a spot for that on the wall."
Yeah, Keith, he ain't playing around over there.
Yeah.
Well, I was told about a show coming up here up near Cleveland. I'm going to try to get into. You got your entry fee, and you send them a digital photograph of your work, and if they accept it, then it goes into the show, and it's got $1,000 prize and stuff like that. So it's a big one. I'm trying to think of where it's at now. I started working on it, and I quit because the wife wanted to go out to dinner on the motorcycle. So well,
yeah.
Get her out of the house. She wanted to go. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, Keith, when you were talking about sizes, what's the smallest picture you've done compared to what's the largest picture you've done?
Well, the smallest I've ever pinstriped was on a poker chip and a Hot Wheels car. I've done pinstriping designs on that. And the biggest thing I've ever painted as far as putting artwork on is a 4x8 sign for a restaurant here in the area. So it just depends.
One of my buddies who does a lot of striping, he got into doing matchboxes years ago, and I was like, wow, that's a whole nother ball of wax, man.
Well, my grandson was bringing him in his cars to me. He's like, "Papa, you can put some stripes on here." I'm like, okay. So I did, and he would set them down, and he wouldn't touch them. He still doesn't play with them. He puts them on the shelf.
That's what gets me to watch what was the tattoo show with Ray Navarro. Anyway, the tattoo competition show, and every once in a while they would pull out where they'd have to tattoo a fingernail, you know, something real, like a micro tattoo. You're like, wow. I mean, you know, everybody thinks
That's
like
crazy.
a back piece, you know, but to think about like a fingernail, it's tiny. You know, and then you see where artists, once you take them out of their realm, out of their comfort zone, you know, they just.
Oh yeah, that shows who can really get down.
Yeah, and I don't blame people for that. I mean, you know, we all like in music or whatever it is. You know, you do something, and most people can do a lot of things, but you have like your favorite or your specialty. It's just what you're good at, and for someone to be really good at all of it is really impressive. That's.
But as far as the pinstripe portraits go, I think I'm just trying to figure out the size of the canvas. I think I did a 36 by 24, and it was the Beatles, and I had all four of them on one canvas.
Right.
Yeah, I remember you talking about. That's the reason why I wanted to ask the question, because on the show you talked about doing the all four together.
Yeah.
And as a Kiss fanatic, I would, the Kiss one caught my attention on that. And but you said you had done those on separate canvases.
Matter of fact, I do have them handy if you want to see them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
What you do, Brian, is you got to get all four of them and you arrange them on the wall around the Kiss guitar or the boots. I got a friend who's Gene Simmons impersonator.
What?
Here we go. Everybody's show and tell.
I was at the gas station the other day, and they were playing a Kiss song on the, like how you hear it through the speakers.
Yeah.
And I was singing, and a guy looked around the gas pump. He's like, "Are you singing Kiss?" I was like, "Yeah, man, that's the jam right here." he like, then he leaned back around like,
Yeah. Talk about being surprised.
The girls had to do a art project when they were in school, and it was a face mask. So here's one of them.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And then this one's Molly. Molly made this one.
Right.
And this was Brianna's.
Are those paper
And
mache?
then those are not paper mache,
Like plastic.
plaster.
Yes.
Plaster? Ooh,
Yeah.
so- okay.
Yeah, they're very. And then Emma did.
Right.
Stanley.
Right.
So they all knew, because I have my little Kiss wall, my little thing. So one day, hopefully, if I ever get my garage done.
Which one did you wear on the truck the next day?
I didn't wear any. I've been like making sure these things are like in the safe, so they don't get destroyed. So, but
Yeah.
oh my goodness, yeah, that's
There's
awesome.
Gene. Then got Ace.
Yeah.
Right.
We got Peter.
Right.
Yeah.
Top man.
and Paul.
And Paul.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was amazed that the girls were able to remember to do that at school. I mean, it was like they had to do the face, and this was during a class. So
That's cool. They did it from memory.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
they have a little. One of them has a little bit of 2 in there. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
But again, I mean, they were. I mean, that was elementary. I mean, not elementary, middle school. So I mean, they were what 10 years old or whatever at the time.
That's cool.
So, but it's kind of crazy. But those are awesome. And like I said, I just was curious also, like how small you ever made one or did one or whatever.
Probably my cat.
Yeah, I was going to say about the size of, with the pinstripe style, because if you get too small, they just go together.
Right.
But I did one of Winston.
Yeah.
I remember his name.
Yeah.
And
Winston Marsalis?
it was.
I call him Tuco from.
Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's bad, man. He's a bad cat.
I just sent you guys a picture of my good friend Joe. This guy worked for me at the school when he was a student, and he is a Gene Simmons. He plays the bass, and he played the band in a Kiss band. In fact, his tribute band had they were like A-list on the contract. Whenever they needed, when an event needed a band that was like the real thing, he always got the call, and they were all making money. And if you knew Joe, I mean, he lives, eats, and breathes Gene Simmons. He knows everything about this guy. And the funny thing is, he's only like a 5'4" little Italian guy. But he wears the boots. He's got the whole 9 yards. And we talked. I mean, he's a serious musician. So we talked many times about how he would get his costuming. And he said, through the years, you buy the boots and this stuff. You can buy them all over the place. And he goes, it's always crap. The stuff falls apart, especially you're sweating it. You're on stage, you spit blood on, blah, blah, blah. So he said, I think someone gave me the idea. He went down into the city, went into Greenwich Village, and he went to a gay bar. And he's hanging out in this gay bar, and he found a guy and said, "Hey, dude, where'd you get that vest?" He goes, they really know how to get kids. But he says, he told me, "No, Ray, in all seriousness, these guys know where to get the right stuff." And they, so the guy turned him on to a guy in the village who he went to and commissioned to make the stuff, and he handmade it.
Wow, that's very nice.
After every performance, he would take the stuff off and totally clean it and recondition it. I mean, he's nuts with his his gear, but
Those boots
he's the real deal.
Those boots are sweet.
And I even he wanted to build a one guitar that Gene Simmons made. It's a black bass, and he copyrights everything he does. This was one guitar he didn't copyright or trademark, and Joe picked up on it and said, I'm having one made. He goes, I have a luthier out in California. The guy is laser cutting me the body. He goes, but I got to make a few pieces. And one of the pieces was a guard, the pickup guard. And he showed me pictures, and it was like on all the guitars back in the 60s. But you could buy one, but they're few and far between. It's going to cost like a couple $100. He says, I just need something like to mock it. So I stepped in and I made him one out of I used aluminum, mocked it up, and I went through probably like 5 or 6 different ones. Finally found one that he could, that he accepted, and then he had it made in steel and chromed and the whole thing. So, I mean, he went that far. He's a nut.
Wow.
He's a nut.
That's cool.
Crazy.
So he's also a huge Batman and Adam West fan. I mean, the guy just loves. So he's the first guy that I'm calling to show this picture to, because Joe is going to absolutely flip when he sees it.
Awesome, thank you. That's cool.
Because he may be another customer. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
thank you.
Hey Keith, are they having that art show in Cleveland that we went to last year, or did it already pass?
Oh, the up at the IX Center?
Yeah.
That got canceled, so we're going to have it again this coming year. They'll have the panel jam and everything else again, too, just like they have.
That'd be a good time for you to take your stuff up there and do those.
Well, dude, let me tell you what. I was all set to I'm donating 2 pieces, a Buddy Holly piece, and I got my Ed Roth piece. I was going to donate for the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Roth, you said?
Yeah.
We know.
Yep, that's the man.
The Ed Roth Wild Child GTO shirt that I actually had signed. Yeah, right up on top.
Sweet. I got Ed Roth's signature.
And
on 2 photographs.
You want to hear something that drives me absolutely insane? It was in Virginia. And it was at a World of Wheels event at Virginia. This was back in 89, I think it was. I don't know. I can't remember the exact date. So we went there because they had they had 15 NASCAR. Yep.
Oh, nice.
They had 15 NASCAR drivers there, and we went up there to go to get autographs and my die cast signed, So me and my buddy were standing there, we're walking, they had a line going around and out the door, and we get in and we're going and I'm standing in line, and there's this guy sitting on this little toolbox, painted toolbox.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, and I kept looking at him, and I tell my buddy, I said, hey, isn't that Big Daddy, Ed Roth? He goes, I don't know who you're talking about. And I'm like, God. I said, hey, you Ed Roth? He goes, yeah. I said, holy shit. So I sat there and talked to him. I don't know. 20 minutes, I'm sitting there talking to him. He opens up his toolbox. He grabs out like two business cards, metal piece, and paints out something. And said, here you go, son.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I can't find that fucker to save my life.
Oh, geez.
They just had a big deal July 22nd and that weekend down at the Corvette Museum, because they have
That's my birthday.
they had 10 different vehicles down there till December of Ed Roth's.
Yeah.
So I want to make that trip down to Kentucky and see those.
Oh,
Because I was out at Peterson's museum 2 years ago, and I didn't go downstairs in the vault. They said that's where the cars are. I went through the rest of the museum, but I didn't get downstairs. I never thought about it, and I missed out seeing his vehicles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am like, I just cannot believe. I know one day I'll just stumble across it, but
Yeah.
I just
Look,
absolutely.
just turn around, look behind you, start digging.
I know. I keep saying I'm just going to use the sticker as, but he signed it, and it was just.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was way back 88, I think. I don't know
yeah,
when that was.
I forget he passed away in. It was in the 80s when he passed away. I know that.
It was
can't
late.
recall the
Yeah, it
year.
was like late.
Actually-
I mean, it was an older guy. I mean, like I say, he was just sitting there, and I kept looking at him. And I said, "Man, I know that guy from somewhere."
Yeah, I had this
Crazy.
shirt signed. It had to be about, I think it was like 88, maybe like 88, 89. It was right around then. It was the late 80s. He was here at the Nassau Coliseum car show.
Yep.
And again, he was there, and people were walking right by him like they didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
When we had George Barris up here, he was on the radio show many times. And the guy, a friend of mine who was his East Coast rep, would take him to cruise nights and some of the cars and coffee things that they weren't called that yet, but the morning cruises. And at my local cruise, that down the block from my house, on a Friday night, it's a big one. And I'm walking through with my buddy, and down the aisle I see Andy and George Barris. They're just walking down the aisle, toward me.
Cool.
So I just seen them the day before. We do events for them all the time. So, but I'm looking like people are just like walking around like, come on, old man, get the hell out of my way, And
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize George Barris. I was like,
Yeah, it's crazy. That was crazy.
yeah.
And I'll never forget. He was just sitting there. He had his hat on, and he's sitting on this one of those toolboxes.
The cantilever.
Yeah. And he's sitting there in between two tables, and I was like, man, that guy looks so familiar. Where did I see that guy before? It was crazy. My buddy was like, I don't know. He goes, who the hell are you talking to? And I said, the Rat Fink dude. You know the guy? He's like, that guy? I'm like, yeah.
I'll tell you what, when the day comes that any one of you guys hit that status, I'll be sure to make a big deal when I see you. Be like, oh, don't worry about it. I got you back.
All right, sounds good.
I'm like, God. So, I don't know.
So, Keith, I see it's been a slow week for Belushi, huh?
Yeah, I didn't. It's been crazy at work, and when I come home, I'm done. But I got a 3-day weekend, so I think I'm going to hit it a little bit. But yeah, we've been really crazy at work. Things are picking up, and the one fella's off, so it's just been.
What type of business do you think you do customer service for? Because I think you'd be a great customer service guy.
Oh,
He sells buttless chaps.
Oh yeah. Well, by definition, they all are.
I sell rubber. So the rubber that we sell is it's all mixed from raw materials, and we mix it in whatever the form. It's either going to be a strip, maybe a pellet, or a slab.
Right.
And then you take it and make whatever item that you need. And our main office is out of Sweden. So
wow.
Actually, we're like the largest manufacturer of rubber in the world.
I was going to throw you out of Akron. I mean, that's like the rubber.
I work in an Amish community. It's the 4th largest Amish community in the world.
The Mennonites. Yeah.
Wow.
And,
that lady, the girl or the woman that injected Belushi died this week.
Did she?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. She she was also who was that Gordon Lightfoot, right? She was dating him or what? She was one of his biggest songs that was written about her, and I can't think of her name at the moment. I can't believe I can't remember the name.
Huh.
But the one that was supposedly she's the one that did the final injection or whatever on Belushi or
See,
whatever.
that's what's weird. Why did I pick Belushi? And then all of a sudden,
Right.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Monday. She passed Monday.
oh, that's messed up because I
Monday
did the
or
same
Tuesday.
thing. When I started doing Buddy Holly, I didn't even know it was an anniversary of his death. And I just put the last stroke on there and it came on the radio. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that's messed up.
Kind of spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because when it was actually funny because, well, not funny, or funny, but because when you were talking about it on the radio Sunday, and so I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. There was a little clip on the news I was listening to, or there was something about the news, and I can't remember what her name was because I was more. I was surprised that she was involved with what's his name also, and the song. Yeah,
OJ?
yeah. So yeah, OJ. But I thought that was kind of weird because, like I said, we were just talking about Belushi, and then that came up, and
Yeah.
It's weird. Now, I just picked a couple other ones out that I'm going to do. I picked out a Janis Joplin. I picked out
Lewis Lee.
Lewis Lee.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
But there's a few other ones that I picked out. Clint Eastwood. And
yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Always see what's going to come up with all that.
See, with a guy like him, you got to say, okay, which era? You know?
Yeah.
This is the old Josie Wales with the little cigar sticking out of the mouth.
76. That's a good, very good. Yeah. Charles Bronson would be cool. He's got a great credit.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, that's a good face.
How about Arnold? How about Arnold?
Yeah. See, there's so many good ones.
God, he will paint now.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to do. My advanced brain is slipping because I was going to ask you about a commission piece, and just earlier I was going to put the name out, and now I just blanked out on who my own commission piece is. So.
That's why you don't get paid for radio, Ray.
You're right. You're right. It's amazing I learned how to turn the freaking stuff on. Make it work. That becomes automatic, you know.
Well, Ray, tomorrow morning I'm going to order that print because I don't keep them. They cost too much to get 50 of each one made that I have. So what I do, they get scanned, and then when I get my payment, I go and order it. And
right.
So it should be out in the mail probably by Wednesday.
Right. Okay. Cool.
But I just want to let you know.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you as well. Hopefully we can drum up some business, get the word out, and get the word out to other states and
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And like I said, this art show coming up, I'm really pumped up about that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, an art show.
It'd be nice when you get a website.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
I know a guy that's willing to do one for you.
I know. We got to get together though. We're always busy.
The website is great, and that's kind of still like the cornerstone type thing. But I tell you, from what they've been pounding into my head, social media really is the way that things sell. It's the way to do it.
It really came up
by the minute. It's out there all the time.
And that the fella that I sold it to, I just finally got a message from the post office that they had finally made it across the pond. They're over in England. So the next stop was Scotland. So I got a little pieces over there. So it's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah, he got the Marilyn Manson and Joker.
Right.
Nice.
Which Joker?
The Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I'm sure my older daughter picked that one up. She goes, "Oh, he does the new stuff too." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you got to do one of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I sold that one.
I want the Frank Gorshin one. I'm a purist. I'm an original guy.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot of things.
Buddy Holly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Arnold Cunningham. Right? From Christine.
Yep.
Yeah.
You look like him.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
especially with the glasses. The glasses is what does it, but the face structure, the narrow face.
Yeah, that was a spooky movie.
Yeah.
That was
This is the one that's going to go to the art show.
Okay.
Wow.
That one just scares me, man, with the amount of work that's in that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was that took time. I can't find my here it is. Here's the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Papa Squirrel got a question for a Ford guy. That'd be you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
You know, 460 cranking slow when hot.
Crank slow hot.
Put an LS in it.
You take a look at that triple Ford starter and make sure the connections are good on that solenoid. And the battery cables are up to snuff.
Ground.
And
Sure.
how many miles, and make sure the timing hasn't slipped on it.
Could be carbon deposits, right? Hot spots and carbon deposits. Yeah. Could be a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where should he start? Probably the grounds, and then
I would
battery.
start with the connections on the solenoid starter.
Yeah, we had a 460 at the shop we sold, a T-Bird, and the guy was just buying it for the engine and tranny, but he wanted to see it run. So, and of course, the thing had started and ran all the time. It was great until we wanted to take a video to show him, and then it wouldn't start. So it ended up being that stupid solenoid. So
Yeah.
So, Brian, what do you think of the 4.8? No, 4.6. I'm sorry.
The 4.6. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean they're a good motor. I mean they're
Now-
well, you're just looking for.
Now, I know they put them in the Mustangs for a little bit, and then they came back with the 5.0. So why did they why did they go back?
Because everybody wanted a 5.0.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was a maintenance issue. There was a maintenance issue with them too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. My neighbor had one. There was a maintenance issue, and they were tough to work on in the car. If you had to do anything internal, they were.
They had a valve. They had valve train issues.
Yeah, it was head related
with the 4.6, and you could. It seems like, and actually, in all honesty, from being out and looking, that's like the majority of everybody's problem in the first place is a valve train situation. I cannot tell you how many Hemis at the Dodge dealership are lined up against the wall and getting new. And they have, what was that other motor that they have is the smaller 4-cylinder, the V6 motor they have is just one headache after another with valve train. And, but I know with the 4.6 they had that was one of the biggest issues was the valve train.
They ran good. It was a good running motor.
Yeah, and actually
mine runs pretty good in the truck.
Actually, I know there's like you did. I think did you do that one with the cam kit, right? And,
I did. Yeah, Mike's car, which is that's a later model though. That's an 05, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of power in those motors.
Oh yeah.
That's just waiting for very little tweaking on, and you can get a lot of power.
He just took that car upstate last weekend, and I was there. Last week he was sitting. What are you doing to the Mustang? He goes, I'm taking the tune out of it. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm taking it upstate. He goes, I want to get a little bit of gas mileage. So I put a video up on Instagram of him doing this pass down this high speed pass, and everybody's writing back, observe the speed limit, huh? And my comment was, imagine how the thing would run if you put the tune back in it. Like unleash those ponies.
Yeah, my buddy has bought a F-150 with twin turbos in it, and it has everything on the truck except for the little keypad on the door. So he's like, "Why does this guy order this truck without the keypad?" He bought it used. So he bought the keypad and he put it in, and you got to program it through the computer. So he bought the system, he once he got in there, he's a computer hacker anyway. So once he got in there, he's like, oh man, I could do all kind of stuff. So he hopped it up, man. He said he had to turn it off, man, because it was just too fast, too aggressive.
Crazy.
They do.
Hey guys, not to interrupt, but I got to roll. So I just want to say goodbye and have a good night.
Hey, well, forget you. You don't want to hang out with us.
I'm getting summoned.
All right,
All right, tell the wife I said what up.
All right, I will, man. Thanks, guys. Have a
All
good
right,
night.
see you later.
Take care.
All right, take care.
So long. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but like I said, because I know a lot of them had valve train issues with those, and they'd hang open and have they'd act like no compression.
You know, my buddy Christian from the motorcycle place, he happened to stop by the shop when I was doing that job, and I forgot what he called the pieces. I think it's like he called it a cam follower.
Yeah.
And he was explaining how he had a run-in with some of them. He had worked on them before, or maybe it was on a motorcycle. It was the same idea. There was a built-in problem with that piece of the puzzle too, and he was kind of warning us about it. So I don't know. Yeah. Small pieces, small passages. You got to keep the oil clean. Just like anything with variable valve timing, and that does have a VVT system. You got to keep the oil clean and pristine always on those engines.
Yeah.
How you like this? My dipstick is stuck. Can't get it out.
Uh-oh.
So I Googled it, and what happens is when the motor gets warm, it heats up the plastic end, and it can't get it out. So I gotta play around with it. Try to get my heat gun.
Put some ice on it, maybe get the swelling down. Yeah.
Get the swelling down. You gotta get your little
heat gun
your party torch, your little crack pipe out, and just heat it up around the edge. And
that's what they had to do to heat it up and pull it out.
Yeah. You'll probably
similar to that, but on the one Mazda we have. This happened years ago. It's a steel dipstick tube, but it has a plastic end. And one day I went to pull it out, and the ring came off of my finger. I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
So I just epoxied it back, and it broke again finally. So now I got a red little nub and pull it out. I'm like, what?
I went to the oil change place, and he's like, "Can't get your dipstick out." I was like, "You broke it. What do you mean can't get it out?" Right. So when I got it home, I played with it, couldn't get it out either. So I didn't want to break it, so I had to YouTube it.
Yeah, the Volkswagens were real famous for that too. They would break, or a lot of times it was a pain in the ass because the tube would go, the dipstick tube went down in between the intakes and went down into the block, and so you couldn't see it just disappeared. You never went. And you go to pull it out, and you'd pull the whole tube and everything out of the oil pan and everything. And man, God, I hate it. You just get to the point you say, it takes 4.8. That's what you put in, and don't even check it, man, because it was a headache after that.
I know I told you a story, but I was working on a VW at the shop. It's a rental car that they have, a Jetta, and it hadn't had an oil change in a while. So it's got a Torx plug. The oil pan is what is it, a T30 maybe, or a 40 something?
It's a 40. Yeah.
So you put your Torx on the ratchet, and you give it a gink, and you give it a whack with your hand, and you give it another whack, and then you're like, oh crap, now what? The motor's moving. So I told my buddy, I said, look, I went and got my hand driver. So put this on a hand driver. So I gave it a couple of little taps. They were calibrated taps. And I said, okay, listen. I said, I've gone to my comfort level with this. I said, why don't you try it? I said, but keep in mind that, you could do some damage here. So he hit it a couple times. He goes, yeah, it ain't coming out. He goes, maybe I'll give it a little bit of boom, boom, knocked it right in the oil pan.
It had the plastic oil pan, right?
No, it was steel. It was steel.
Oh.
But I said, okay. So that's it. He went and looked, and Dorman had a replacement oil pan for like $42. I said, if Dorman's making an oil pan, this isn't the first time it happened, right?
Yeah.
So we pulled the pan down, and you could see the bung that the bolt went into. They just had 2 little tack welds on it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, man, at least put 4 tack welds on it, you know?
When it was funny when we were this is back in the day when we were at the dealership and we had those aluminum oil pans, and if it was on its last leg, you know, and if it tightened up and didn't leak, we would paint the nut or the bolt for the drain plug red. And that was fair warning not to touch that drain plug.
Right.
We would suck all the oil out through the dipstick because that was opening the can of worms after that, because you go up there and tell the guy you need the oil pan. Well, you broke it changing the oil, and you got that whole argument, But oh man, those were. I see a red. I see that little red dot on that drain plug. That was it. That was fair warning.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Yep. Stay away.
I mean, like I said, in retrospect, looking at it, I'm saying, how much cheaper could it have been? I mean, it could have used 2 pieces of. I guess that would have been a little cheaper, but dude, come on, man. I mean, 2 little tack welds.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yep.
It's not like the old. I mean, that's why I love working on old cars. Everything is heavy duty, more heavy duty than it has to be. Over engineered a lot of times.
It's made right.
You could put a pry bar on something. You could put an extender on a ratchet. I could use my 4-foot breaker bar.
All right, I got a project that I'm working on. My washer. I moved my laundry room to the first floor.
Nice.
So I ran all my pipes and everything, get the washer hooked up, starts leaking. So me being me, I go on YouTube. I was like, oh, this guy, look, he says easy. We can fix it, right? Put a new seal in, new bearings. So I go get the parts. They're cheap, $40. So I come home, start taking this thing apart. Everything's rusted. Everything's stuck together. Can't get the bolts off.
Right.
So I go back and look at the video again. He's working on a new machine.
Yeah.
Showing me how to do it.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
So it's tore apart right now.
I just had to fix the stove. My wife was telling me over the weekend, I'm turning the oven on, and it's a digital display. So she sets it at 350. The display, it starts at 100. And she goes, it's not going over 100, and then we're smelling gas. I'm like, I'm like, okay. So it ignites in the beginning, and then it stops at 100, and then we smell gas. Was it a gas valve igniter? Whatever. I go to a local guy. We got a scratch and dent guy. And, I buy stuff from him, and I get parts from him as well. He goes, listen, 9 out of 10 times it's an igniter on the GE. So he sells me a part. He goes, and they make like 4 different ones. I'm like, stupid me, didn't take it out and bring it here first. So give me the one that's most common. Okay. I bring it home. Of course, he gave me a round one, and mine's a flat one. So take it out, go back. And same thing. I checked YouTube for the. I mean, it's an easy repair. But I told him on the phone. He says, "How do you know? What's going on?" I said, "Listen." I said, I want to know how to narrow the set point on this thing." He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Because I'm watching this oven when it heats up, and it's going from like you set it at 350, it'll go up to about 410, and then drop down to like 260." I said, "It's like 100-degree." Either way, he goes, "Well, how do you know that?" I'm like, "I put a thermocouple in the oven." He goes, "Where'd you get that?" I'm like, "Well, I got a meter. I got one of my multimeters has a thermocouple. Why don't I put it in?" I want to know what's going on.
I got to figure out.
"Oh, you got to take the advanced class now." I'm like, "Just tell me how to." So I still haven't made those adjustments yet.
There we go.
Yeah, we went round and round with our new oven. Same thing. It does. It when it heats up, it'll do the same thing like you said. You set it for 350, and it'll do like 410, and then it drops down to whatever. Then it does this floating regulating. And
Snow County experiences a couple nights. Right.
Yeah,
it's like so well, holiday weekend. Never going to come out of this.
They're not making them like they used to.
No.
Yeah. So I got flustered, and I just left everything on the floor in there. So Tomorrow I'll get back on it.
So it's the actual washer itself that's leaking?
No, what happens is the bearing goes bad and it ruins the seal.
Yeah.
So I bought both, figuring I'll fix them both. But now I can't get the bearing out, and it's in the plastic housing, so I don't want to break the plastic housing.
Oh, geez.
That's a front loader, right?
No, top loader.
Top loader? Wow.
That sounds like the late model Ford thermostat housing issue. We talked about that a long time ago, remember?
Yeah, so I lubed it up real good. Hopefully it'll come out tomorrow. So I can see myself now breaking that plastic tub, and then I'm done.
We had a problem with my wash machine as well. It would take the last spin, and then you'd open it up, and the clothes would still be wet. So you'd put it on spin again, and sometimes that would do it. I'm looking online; they're saying a lot of times it's the pump; it's not evacuating all the water, or it could be an obstruction. So I remember about a year or so ago, I was fighting this problem, and I found I had a molded hose that goes up to dump the water, and molded hose this way it's not going to kink, but it had been on there so long when I manipulated it, it literally sucked itself down and it cracked. I'm like, I need a new hose. Now what happened is the washer was moving itself back, and where the drain hose comes out of the back, it was
pinching it off,
crimping against the wall. So I put a piece of 2x6 back there. I said, I'll stop you from doing that. and my wife said, okay, the problem is though, I got a master control that's above the washer. She couldn't reach it now. So I said, okay, so I got to move the cutoff valves down to the right side where she can reach them. But that meant doing some copper work. And I said, you know what? I was going to buy a shark bite, which I haven't used before.
They're nice.
Or I can bust out the torch and see if I still got my soldering skills.
Man, forget that. Do the shark bites, man.
I sweated each joint and no leaks. Like,
well, what I did is I had to run pipes from downstairs to the upstairs.
Right. And
I bought the shark bites, and I did everything, but then going up into the little box,
right.
Yeah. I had to sweat, so I had to solder it. But I did it on the bench.
Okay.
Before I put them in.
In that case, why didn't you go with PEX and use the plastic stuff?
Well, you need to buy that tool.
You could probably rent it.
Yeah. I built an outdoor wood burner furnace when I lived out in the woods.
Right.
And I used the PEX out there. It was pretty nice. I liked using it.
I saw a guy on YouTube had a tool. I don't know who made it. It was red. Maybe it's in Milwaukee. And it was like an induction heater that went around. You put it around the pipe, and it just like heated that pipe 360. And the thing with the solder is you heat one end of the pipe and you solder the other end. Because the solder will follow the heat. So if it melts over here, it's going to go over there.
And sweat. You got to have the sweat right too.
The problem is everybody does it too much, and then they just fill the pipe with solder. So you gotta learn to trust yourself, and you don't need a lot. You really don't need a lot at all. It just gets in that joint, beautiful.
Well,
I like that.
What I learned is as soon as you see it start to take off on its own,
done.
You're good.
Right.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll give it another little dab, just a little dab, but that's about it.
Yeah. Usually the second dab, it leaks for me, so I just leave it alone on the first.
I remember when I lived in Queens, we had the house I was in was an old house, and it had a claw, one of those 4-foot claw tubs, and it was like the plumbing was outside for the shower because back when the house was built, they probably didn't have showers in those tubs. They just had a regular bathtub. So something was leaking. I guess one of the valves was leaking. So I had to sweat in some new ones, but they didn't put shutoff valves in the bathroom. The shutoff valves were 2 floors down in the basement. So I got to put valves in case so that the next guy doesn't have to have a problem. And that was the first time I had to solder on a vertical pipe. It wasn't horizontal, and that was a little weird, But
listen, those shark bites are nice, man. When you push them together, you hear them click. That's it.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And you can take them loose too. They got a little
Yeah,
tool.
the tool, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Right.
That's cool.
If I can get away with it, I'll never sweat, never solder again.
Yeah. I mean, you need a little more room sometimes. Like I have a radiator upstairs in the apartment that the copper pipe was leaking, and it was right on the corner in the bend. And I got some, and it was in the middle of the winter, and I got some good 2-part pots here, and I think I JB welded the hell out of it, and then taped over it. It's been like that for like 6 years.
Yeah. Hey, it's working. Don't
It
touch
was
it.
in there, it was all thin.
Yeah. That shark bites
until
ain't
you
no
go
joke,
away
man.
on vacation, it's working great until then.
Right.
Uh,
Well, it was like last year. One day last year, it was in August. My wife and I went to the movies. Which we never really do, but we went out to the movie. We went to see Hollywoodland, the Quentin Tarantino movie. And my daughter was home, so she sends us a text. We just got there and says, guy from the gas company was just here. Like, really? What? Yeah, he wants to read the meter. I'm like, okay, no problem, no worries. Yeah, and he said he has to shut the gas off. Like, what? Like, why? She goes, well, he didn't say. He said you could call this number and it'll tell you. Well, we were there for like 2 weeks because he told me my vent was obstructed and it was. I'm like, of course we go. The one time we go out.
yeah.
Red tagged you.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What's John Day saying? Spray, soak it with that Raycon stuff. Yeah, give that a shot on there.
Yeah.
If you have that, Lewis, the Raycon,
Yeah.
give that a whirl.
Yeah, that's what I used. That's exactly what I used.
Right.
Wait, I think I used that. It's one of his products. Wait, let me see. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, metal plastic housing. That's like dissimilar metals. It's like whoever the Joker was that thought of that ought to be drawn and quartered. Oh, so Brian, this is pretty funny. I got to show you something. You're all alone.
I'm all by myself.
No,
There
I
we
used
go.
one of his other products. I use that.
Gun tool stuff. Cool.
Oh.
Cleaner, lubricant, and protective. That's good for the guns, too. Cool.
Yeah. Now, John, this is the stuff you gave me when I was up in Canada. Is this the same stuff you sent me? Because he was sending me some.
Oh, he said wrong.
I said wrong.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I got to go back out in the garage to get the right stuff. I know I have it. I have some of the stuff.
Raycon. Yeah, the Raycon. It's a small bottle.
Oh, yeah. I know where. Oh, I don't know where it's at, though.
It's with Brian's rap thing. So while I had no internet for one of the weeks, I'm going through watching DVDs. And I think my neighbor gave me this movie. Brian, you would know that, right?
Yeah, I
Correct,
can't
right.
make it. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep.
Right? It's all about these 4 dudes are going to go and see Kiss.
Kiss.
At the
Yeah.
arena. And the kid's mother, one kid's mother is like a Kiss fanatic. She's like runs the NRCB, And what did she say Kiss stood for? Knights in Satan's Service.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy, I didn't realize it was, I had the movie for a long time. I never watched it, but it was just one of those kind of like high school-y kind of dopey movie, but I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars in that movie.
There was some, yeah. But, it was really all about the music and all. It was about Kiss,
Yeah.
And Gene Simmons is in it, and what's his name? His wife. I got
Shannon.
Tane in my head. Yes, Shannon Tweed.
Yeah.
She's in it. And the band is in it because I actually had some footage from a concert at the end. And I tell you, I forget what song. And of course, the guy, he meets this girl in his class and they're getting to be friends. And you can tell, like, you develop a relationship. And of course, her name is Beth, right? I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, don't tell me they worked. And of course, they worked the song Beth into the movie. They did that too. That was a thing. But at the end, I think we're playing Detroit Rock City. Great song. But the mix in the movie kind of had the music tracked down a little, and it had Paul Stanley's voice just a little bit more pronounced than like on the record. Man, he was barely singing that song.
Yeah.
He was kind of shaky. You know? It's like they should have kicked that music, the background music, up a little bit more. You know?
Hey John,
Yeah,
is this the gun stuff that you were going to send me in the mail? Because you gave this to me up last time I was up there in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah,
We're
I think I might know what box that that other stuff is in.
We're not allowed to go into Canada.
Yeah,
They still haven't. I don't think they've opened the border up.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
No,
shooting this stuff like I was using the right stuff. Shoot, that's why I didn't come loose. I was using the wrong stuff. I didn't even read it because I know it was grease, and I know John gave it to me, so that's why I just grabbed the can and took off.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So what's the good word on the tool truck this week, Brian?
It's very, 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 very quiet around here right now. So,
Boy, after the toolbox, after the splurge on toolboxes and scanners.
yeah, well, like I said, it's kind of scary. You have a killer week, and then the next week starts out like the way it did, and
Crickets.
I don't know. I usually, election year. And this area gets really weird because as our biggest employers of government workers, they don't know if they're going to have a job or not. So usually it's about 3 weeks before the election. It really gets quiet.
Yeah.
But the way 2020 is, and with them talking about it, man, everything just dropped off like you would not believe. And, I just hope we don't have to go the next 67 days or 64 days this way, but it is what it is. Just
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
while we were having dinner tonight, my wife had the Trump's rally on from PA, from Pennsylvania. I tell you, man, that's where that guy shines, when he can just get out in front of a crowd and ad lib. He just knows how to push the buttons, get the troops rallying. Oh,
That dude's funny, man.
yeah. He knows how to do it. He really does.
Yeah.
He knows what his audience wants.
yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's you get, like you said, you get them out. That's why, like I said, I can only imagine everybody that's around him trying to keep him from doing that, because they don't want him to shoot himself in the foot, but it's just the way he is, though.
At this point, it's like, you know what? I think that the gauntlet's been thrown. It's like, you know what? On both sides, there's no fair play anymore. It's just like, they're going to hit you, so you got to hit them first.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, everybody complained about politicians, so we get a guy and that's not a politician. Now they're complaining that he's not a politician.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let the man do what he does. He's a businessman. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with a couple of my friends, like you were saying, Brian, about like the first quarter was great, and I did great too. And then all of a sudden, I took like a huge hit, and I was like, oh man, hopefully and it came back. How he did it, but he brought it back.
The recovery.
It came back. I mean, like $100,000 came back like in 4 months.
Right.
3 months. Like, holy crap, that's pretty impressive. I mean, you can't tell me that's not a guy that doesn't know how to work with money.
Remember $100,000?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, man. And think about it. 20 years ago, we need a businessman, to run the country like a business. Well, we get one, and now you're treating him like an idiot.
Well, young guys. I mean, a lot of presidents, even Bush, owned, sports teams, and they have interest in big stuff. But it doesn't mean they know how to run it. It just means they know how to invest and
right
and spend. Trump, he would bring that stuff up from the ground up. He knows the nuts and bolts. He knows cause and effect of what's going to happen. And
Could you imagine if the media would give him a fair shake?
Oh, geez, forget
Just
it.
1 month. Give him 1 month of not jamming him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just like you said, or everybody says, I mean, the guy could say the complete opposite of what he's going to do. Say something, even if he's even done it. I mean, he'll agree to what they say, and they still find some way of
Jamming.
Well, that's what he says during the rally. Now he'll say something. He goes, "Okay," he goes, "I know this one's going to be. They're going to have fun with this one, but it's like like I said, the gloves are off. It's like."
I like when he says, "Look, the lights turned off."
Yeah.
He's funny, man.
Yeah.
So this is crazy. It's a shame.
It is.
And they're going and people are that stupid to turn around and vote for these people that have damaged this whole everything, to put them back for what? To put them in charge,
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
To stand behind lawlessness and the anarchy that's going on in all these cities. I mean, for anybody to see that in their city or an adjoining city and think that's a good thing.
See, that's what I don't think. The people that live in those cities, I think they're going to vote against the Democrats because of that.
Yeah.
And if for some reason the Democratic Party thinks that they're on their side, I can't imagine them being on their side.
No. The problem is, though, too, you got to remember, it goes by delegates and states delegates. And I almost think it's been a theory of mine for a long time. It almost doesn't really matter what you or I do at the voting booth. The delegates are the ones who are getting the electoral college voting for the president, and they're supposed to be representing us. And like in California, they're already in place.
Yeah.
So that's the problem there. But yeah, just the fact that they can. Yeah, I think on a grassroots level, it's funny. I was watching a show on HBO just the other day. It was called, what the hell's the name of it? Something motherfuckers. I think I remember.
What are you watching?
It was about the freaking Watts riots. The LA.
You gotta quit watching that porn, Ray.
That was sister fuckers. That was different. Watts riots back in LA in '65. And then they followed right through to the 90s. They were talking about LA and the police system, how it didn't change until the 90s when they got some they really made some changes. But they were showing the riots, the Watts riots, and I mean they burned that city down, man. And not till it got by Hollywood did it stop. And we all know the National Guard came in and the police. I mean, there was a whole bunch of clusterfuck. They totally, there was the thinking at the time, and it was handled wrong. But this guy who was doing it showed. He says, it wasn't the people who lived there that would do. He claims that there was a subversive group that came in and was undermining it and blending with the locals and inciting and starting the fires. Sounds kind of familiar. It's exactly what's going on now with Antifa.
Same playbook.
Man, you know what? There could be something to that, because I know a lot of people. I know people who've protested, and they didn't burn down a building or break a window. They just went out and protested, and that was fine. That's their right to do so. But
they just had a stats on how many got arrested from different cities. I forget which one it was. Maybe Portland. No, there's one of those. But they had the stats of how many people got arrested, and they weren't even from that state.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's big.
And there you go. So now, if you could take that back to the '60s, and and God knows what, even if before that, you can see the trend. That means that group and that element has been counterculture and sitting there all that time. And maybe it's a variant of it. Things morph and change.
Mm-hmm. Copycat.
But they were talking about the Black Panthers, and they were talking about the Weathermen. They talked about a bunch of different groups throughout the years that have, been some trouble. And you start thinking wow, everything old is new again, huh?
Yeah.
Everything that's good is now bad, and everything that was bad is now good.
Well, I really just didn't believe, even here in New York, watching the TV, that everybody who was protesting, or that as many people who were shown doing violence and damage, were your average protesters. I didn't believe it from the beginning for a second.
Me either.
And
Did you see the news guy the other day saying, "Oh, it's a peaceful protest," and the buildings are behind them on fire?
yeah.
That's peaceful. Don't look at the guy behind the curtain.
Peaceful.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, jeez.
Oh no, man.
That lady was Kathy Smith. Was the lady that the drug
Belushi?
overdose on Belushi? I had to look it back up. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't remember her name, but I just had to. Yeah, she was 73. It was a week ago, so it was. That was weird. I'm telling you. When you guys were talking on the radio about that, and then it was Monday or whatever, when I saw this blip about it, it's just kind of weird just talking about it or coming across that.
He's brought it up. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump off. I gotta pretend like I'm an adult tomorrow.
Oh.
Well,
good luck.
I gotta get my blood work done for my annual visit next week to the doctor. But I asked them, I said, can you put a COVID-19 antibody test in there? And they said, oh, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Curious to see if I got any antibodies.
Oh,
that'd be nice.
Because I haven't been sick. We'll see.
I think they I think they do that anyway because they're looking for specimens. They're looking for I saw something on the radio or heard something where they wanted, if you had a certain blood, they wanted your blood to test or whatever.
Plasma donors, yeah.
They wanted, even though they need the plasma just for other stuff, but they want it more because they wanted to test to see if you fall in that line or whatever. Kind of crazy.
Black suits knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Go for a ride in the Suburban, right?
Hey, I think we might have Ron Capps on next week.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Next week or the week after.
What happened this week? The Rae Ripple's. I
texted her and she said she was traveling. She was going to call in on the phone.
Oh, okay.
But so who knows? She might have gotten an area where she couldn't get in. So we'll get her back on because the last time she was on, the system didn't record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like not there. So I like to get her back on. And
I've actually spoke to Clay Kuhn a couple times since he was on. I told him, I said, look, I'm sorry I couldn't get on that night, but
yeah, we have him back on.
I'd like to get him back one of these days. Yeah, we'll do some hard. I know you guys are talking trucks. I want to do some hardcore tool talk.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. Cool dude. Yeah, we'll get him back on. We got Swag going to come on too.
And I found out, I just asked him the other night. I had a phone call with him the other night, and I asked him, I said, Clay, I noticed you got a tattoo on your right wrist. It's a guitar with some flames. And he's a big guitar. Besides guns, he's a big guitar collector.
Oh, I didn't know he was a gun guy.
Oh, he told me he's got like 23 Glocks alone.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
And then
we got to talk.
And then his right, he's got about 1,000 guns.
Really? Oh man, I didn't know that. We got to talk.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
We'll get him back on real quick.
And he's got that's why I felt so bad not being able to make it because I kind of had some of that info. But the guitars too, and he's got some real nice collectible guitars, some old school stuff. Yeah. So I mean, he's been playing since he's a kid. In fact, if you ever watch his videos, the music, the song that comes on in the beginning, he actually wrote that with the guy who he gives the credit to. The guy, the other guy actually went on to have a music career and recorded it. But they wrote that when they were like 14.
Oh, 15. Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
So he's got a musical background too, which is kind of cool. You know?
Cool. So, right. Hopefully we get Ron on next week. He's racing tonight, I think, or today. Okay. So as soon as we get him on, he's excited to come on. So
excellent.
Good guy. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. If anything pops up, you run across anything, motors or anything you want to send me, just
you got it. I see Terry put a video up today about his for his hood with that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just put it up tonight. I saw it. It was a quickie. It's only like a 5-minute one, but he was throwing you some mad props.
Okay, I gotta go check it out.
He saved the best for last, which was you.
Hey.
Yeah, he's got it.
That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
All right, guys. I appreciate
All
you.
right.
All right, Lewis.
All right, Lewis. Take care.
All right. See ya.
So long. Ah,
Crazy.
yeah, very.
Crazy.
I know. Nutty stuff. Nutty stuff.
Oh, you put a Snap-on sticker up there.
Yeah, I was. I think I better. Maybe I should go for some.
Brownie points.
And he even got look at this. He even got a Mac,
Oh my goodness,
right?
man! You know what that stands for, right?
Man ain't coming.
Man ain't coming.
That's actually the sticker. I have a Mac carburetor agitator, and
Oh, really?
and that was on the top, and it finally the decal just finally just broke. Just the glue let go, and I had it in the garage. I'm like, let's bring that inside too.
Wow.
Yeah, I just watched Clay's latest Mac video of the guy that he uses, and I tell you, man, I don't know what it is. I mean, I love all the tools, and let's face it, all three tool companies kind of have the same color palette to their tools, except for no blue. That's an original.
Yeah.
But when I see the inside of that Mac truck, the way those colors just jump, it's like, man, it's like kaleidoscope. I don't know what it is. I think it's the balance of yellow and red.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of stuff, and I guess a lot of that stuff is other branded.
Yeah.
He was showing today some radiator. I never saw them before. There were two handheld clamps for radiator hoses. So I guess you can just put it over the hose and tighten it down. He says the body shops are buying them. Look like a cool.
Yeah. They've been around for a while. They were. I mean, they've been around forever. Did it have the like a knob?
Yes.
Was it raised up?
It was like a black plastic device. I guess probably would have maybe like a claw on the bottom.
Yeah, and it closed up.
Top, you would turn it right.
Did it have a section to put a ratchet on it? A 1/4-inch drive?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But
it was actually it was kind of funny. I don't have it down here. It's actually upstairs. It was funny. It was about 5 years ago, when we were at the tool show. We had the vendor that made those there, and they had demos. They had before they were in public, before they were made, a prototype.
Right.
And it was funny. The guy gave me a couple of them, and I didn't even think about it, but I threw them in my backpack. And then, of course, when I went to go get on the plane, going through security, they're like, looking like, what the hell's this? It was like some kind of weird. I was like, oh, it's a tool to take. And the guy's just looking at me like I had two heads, I'm surprised I was able to get back on the plane with them, because they'd never seen,
Right.
Oh, I tell you, man, it was so crazy. And I had that, and then there was, the hose clamp pliers that had the long cable.
Yes.
There was a guy that, one of the vendors there, they had stopped making because these were interchangeable. And he said he had one, and I had a customer that wanted one, for that. They didn't make the tool anymore. So when I met him at the expo, he brought it for me, and I had this long cable with the claw and these little things. I mean, the security guy, it was like a 3rd degree, the whole 9 yards, man. I tell you, that's when my wife just walks away. She goes, I don't know this guy.
Right.
I'm getting on the plane.
It's funny because I was at one of my friend has a shop probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was hanging around, helping him with some stuff, and he took out a pair of those. First time I saw them, the long ones, and they were Snap-ons. I was like, wow, man, low radiator hose on the front wheel. I'm like, wow, that's like beautiful. I love that. I was like, what do they cost? He goes, that was about $200. I'm like, oh shit, man. So it was in the back of my head. And then I usually don't come across too many times where I would need something like that.
Yeah.
But then I did on one of my own cars, and I think I actually bought a pair at Harbor Freight, and they're not that
Uh-huh.
great. They're kind of crap. So now Mike at the shop bought a pair of Snap-on set, and I said, you know what? There's got to be a better alternative out there. I said, I'm gonna have to investigate my other sources for this.
Yeah. There's actually like the original company was a French company or something.
Yeah.
And Mayhew made them, and they were French, and they worked great. But if the cable broke and they sold a replacement cable, man, no matter what you did, changing that cable, it was just never the same tool again.
Why would the cable break though? I mean,
It's just the tension on it. Eventually, the cable. It's like from a 10-speed bike. The brake cable. It's that type of wire. And
braided wire. Yeah.
The problem is where the crimps or where it moves, the wire pinches there, and it does. It actually what happens once it would work. It would sliding, but as soon as it did this,
it kinks. Yeah.
As soon as it kinks, then it would always kink, and then you would keep going, and it would work. But then once that kink is there,
right,
it would never slide back through the tool, and then of course it'll break at the kink, and it was a pain.
I found this stuff for motorcycles back in the late 70s called Dry Slide. It's in a green bottle. It's just like a liquid graphite. And it came with a long injector nozzle, like a needle, and you'd pump it into like if you were going to put a clutch cable or a throttle cable on the bike, before you put it on, you would hold it up and just pump the stuff into the end and then work the cable in and out until it dripped out of the bottom. And that was it. It impregnated the wire and you were good to go. Great stuff. You got it on your shoes or your hands. It was like never sees. It was on there. You look like the Tin Man. It was on there forever, except it was black. So my friend John at the time, we were working together. He had a Fiat 131, and he lived in Brooklyn, and a good part of Brooklyn. But the way he had to go home, he had to take this one parkway and get off, and it just made him go through East New York, which was a bad neighborhood. And he got stuck once. His clutch cable snapped, and we found out that the clutch cable ran a front-wheel drive car, and they threw everything in there. The engine was in there. The battery was in the front. They even put the spare tire on top of the engine.
Wow.
On that car. And the clutch cable ran right under the battery tray. Great idea. That. And the battery tray, those were the days, vented batteries, and they would sulfate it. Acid would eat the battery cable, the clutch cable. So, the first time he was stuck, he had to call his dad, come pick him up, tow the car out of there. Second time, he had to get towed home. And he had bought the cable, which wasn't easy to get. And he says, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to fix these damn things. Because his didn't kink. They just broke. The end went bad. And there was an extra cable. So he ended up taking the end, it was a ball end, drilling it out. And he just used silver solder and silver soldered it back onto a cable. And so he kept a repaired cable in the car with him. So he got it down to a point where he could change that cable in like 12 minutes.
Wow.
A couple 10-millimeter wrenches. You do a quick adjustment, check the pedal, boom, you're gone. You're out of East New York.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff you learn to do when you're working a car. You got to learn how to adapt and overcome, Yep. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. That is true.
Hey, how are the new thin wall sockets going over? The SCTE 3M6s with the carbon fiber.
I sold 3 or 4 of them this week, so I haven't had any reply yet, but I sold a handful. I didn't sell the whole kit. A lot of guys just wanted the one size. Yeah, what they worked on,
Okay.
I had one guy. He just, he mostly works on German stuff, so he wanted the 17. And when I was at the Honda dealership today, the one guy needed the 21, I think, or whatever. But and I ordered a couple in between. I mean, just individuals, and I don't know. I sold 3 or 4.
I like it. I like it that the little extension is built into it. I think I like that a lot. It's a good look. Nice looking tool.
Well, they actually make both versions, one without the extension and one with the extension. So that I noticed that in our new release stuff. And I tried that speaker, and the speaker, like everybody says, it's no louder than your phone. So,
okay, that's what I
so I did try. That came in, and I tried that. Had that playing on the truck, and
they tried.
Yeah, well, it's as much as you try to explain, it goes in one ear. It's all about the the penny, what they're making on it. So, but
John,
we had that. And,
John just said in the chat with the cables, it's always good. Guys are always using different lube, but you should clean the cable first. Especially if it's if it's been in service, you want to clean it before you re-lube it. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Get the old crap off of there.
Yeah. I can't remember what else we had new this week or what came out new. Yeah, I mean it really hasn't been that bad. It's just really quiet. I mean, my shops, it really scares me when I walk into a normal, really busy shop and it's 2:00 and everybody's just like, kicking back,
Yeah.
So, especially when they usually don't have that much time. They don't have enough time for to do anything. Of course, I get busy because everybody thinks I'm their only stop, so they want to come out and hang out in the truck. And and I'm like, okay, we got to get going here.
Right.
I still have 8 or 9 stops.
Right.
But hopefully it just, I don't know. Normally I would say, oh, it's because it's the first week of school, but since the kids aren't really going to school, that I just hope it's not going to be the election for the next 5 weeks.
Right. Right.
So
I was over at the other shop the other day, and I got to see the Mustang. It's painted. It's in, I guess it's Wimbledon white.
Oh, really? I love that color.
But I tell you something, that car looks odd because there's no glass in it yet, and it's sitting on the old wheels, and it almost looks like a plastic model.
Yeah,
just in white, like nondescript. I mean, once the stripes are on, it's done. It's going to look bitching. It's going to look fantastic.
Is it the glass? Is he got? Is it? I guess being white is it going to be? Is that the original color? Was white the original color on that car?
No, I think he said the car was blue.
Blue, because the blue would have had the gold stripe, and that gold stripe's beautiful.
The maroon car had the gold stripes too, which was very nice. I like that combination a lot. Yeah, he wanted the white. I guess it's going to be the black hood and the black stripes, the black accent on the white. It's going to look nice. Don't
get me wrong.
He's got the black louvers for the rear, So I mean, it's kind of black. I think the rear tail panel gets done black. It's going to come in nice, but just being all white, it just looks like they dipped it in like cake batter.
Yeah. And I love them white. I would. It's hard to keep a car white, but I like the white.
Inside, if it's inside. I mean, outside a daily driver is a problem, but
you
got to keep it inside.
Yeah, my F350. I finally got that running. Man, I tell you.
Yeah.
Redid the Fickum, put the new board in, and got it all up, but it's still, like I said, it sat for 4 months.
would that happen to be the Ford integrated control module?
Yeah, for the injection. I was only running at you need 48 volts for the injectors, and I was only running at 39.
Oh.
So it didn't have. It ran. I mean, it started and ran, but it just didn't have any power. The injectors weren't opening up all the way.
Right.
So it was like governor, it kept it. And so I put a 58-volt injector board in it, and I had I called it my turbo boost control. I had the charge pipe had a small crack in it.
Uh-huh.
So I kept it on there when the girls were driving it to learn to drive. That way they got a little bit of the turbo feel, but not the whole thing. And it was kind of funny because when my wife Jenny had the Excursion, it was the same vehicle, same motor.
Yeah.
And they'd say, how comes mom's truck so much faster than yours, And I said, because it doesn't have the controlled boost gauge, she's getting the full 40 PSI and I'm only getting 18,
Right.
So, but I got all that done and hopefully get her cleaned up and get her back. It's white. It's a white truck. I love it when it's clean, but
yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Sure.
So, but I got that all back, and I don't know. I was I'm trying to think about trying to get my Audi back together. I kind of need another vehicle to drive.
Is that the Quattro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs a clutch. And I don't know. I'm kind of tired of it. It's been sitting forever. And put a clutch in it and see where we go with that.
Right.
I'm sure it's going to need a fuel pump in there. Last time I had it started, it sounded like a coffee can. The fuel pump ran like a coffee can with 2 quarters and a nut rolling around in it.
And it probably needs a hydraulic pump. That probably went bad.
Yeah. So
when I had my Audi, I had a 5000, and my buddy Lenny, who my brother had worked with at Porsche Audi, he's the guy who's at that top line Audi. He's a diagnostician. He's so in demand, he can't even get paid. They can't pay him right because he puts in so many like diagnostic hours. I mean, he's been known for years. Like other dealers they have a deal made where they'll send the cars to him or he'll go to them, like all the no starts, all the dead, everything. He's just that good.
Yeah.
And once he says, I can't bill because you can't bill the amount of hours that it takes me sometimes to try and track down a problem. This is
right.
Customers wouldn't put up with that. So, he would get deals, corporate would give him, he'd get, time off. They give him vacation time. They give him cash bonuses. I mean, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, he was, this is back, let's see, was it the late 80s? It was the early 90s. I was looking for a car and he says, a guy I work with has an Audi. And he wants to sell it. Good car. It's a 5000. I'm like, okay. And I know my brother was working there when they were when they had all the shift lock, that whole thing. And he was telling me, look, it's bullshit. He goes, people, it wasn't. He goes, I did those recalls every day. He goes, there was nothing wrong with these cars.
Yeah.
He said, 2 old ladies drove through garage walls, and all of a sudden they, it's like McDonald's. The coffee's hot. Oh my God, put a label on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So, first of all, I was kind of pissed that it wasn't a 5-speed. It was an automatic. But I said, okay, So I bought the car. And, buy an Audi from an Audi mechanic. So then he tells me, well, there's a couple of things wrong with it. Yeah, the dash light. The dash was dead. The dash lights didn't work. Sunroof didn't work.
Yeah.
Brake lights were at the minute. And, it was all like he had put an equalizer in. But the freaking guy, now this wasn't Lenny. This was the guy the mechanic that worked there.
Uh-huh.
That guy put an equalizer in under the dash and used like drywall screws. And of course he went up and pierced the lighting module board. Like, You idiot.
Yeah.
But Lenny says to me, he says, come over here. He goes, I got stuff for you. So he goes to his bottom toolbox, one of them, and he starts handing me parts. And he gave me a fuel pump. He goes, you're going to need this. It's going to go bad. He gave me a hydraulic pump. He goes, this one's good. You're going to need this. He gave me a CV joint. He's giving me all these parts that he had takeoffs from other new cars. He goes, you're going to need all this stuff. He says, so, and it's expensive. So take it all. And wouldn't you know, I didn't use any. The one part that I used was that CV joint. He said a customer had a brand new car, complained there was a noise in the wheel multiple times. They checked this car. They could never find a problem. So they changed the outer CV joint. Then they finally changed the axle. I don't know if they ever solved the problem, but that one part bit me in the ass because it was probably like 3-4 years later. And I needed my CV joint. It let go. I pulled into a gas station. Those cars had a lot of camber in the front end.
Yeah.
Full wheel, full lock, and I heard it go bop. Like, whoa, what the hell was that? And like the car jumped, like the joint popped out. I'm like, oh, I know what this is. It's the CV joint. So I just put it in reverse, backed it up a little, and cut the wheel, and boom. It was like your shoulder, like jamming it
Popped
back.
it back in.
So I'm like, okay, so I just won't turn full lock. That's all, and I'll be okay. And I did a lot of work with my one friend at his shop. It was a tire shop at the time. He had a deal with the boss where he would work at night doing side work. Mm-hmm. And sold tires and shocks and brakes. So the deal was, look, whatever you use from the shop, just pay me for, and anything you do on your own, So this one night we had like 6 or 8 cars lined up. We used to do struts like crazy. We were doing them all just by hand with the hand tool. But anyway, we took like 6-8 cars done. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Maybe it's 10:30. It's like, hey, you know what? It's a little early. I said, I'm going to bring my car in. I got to do something. Oh, we do oil change. I said, no, I got to change the CV joint. And I just done 2 CV joints on American cars that night.
Right.
They fell out. They went in. You tapped them off, put them in, click, done, bing, bang, boom.
No.
Off my Audi. Release the clip, and I'm tapping it, and it slides down a little, and then it's stuck. Brian, I beat the, because then you get into a point where you're like half off, you can't go.
All right.
Now it's like 11 o'clock at night. There's no auto parts stores. I literally beat this thing with a hammer until I broke it. I broke it off. I was like, okay, good thing I have a brand new CV that Lenny gave me that was off a new car.
Yeah.
Clean the splines, grease it, go to slide it on. And the other ones I did just went on and click. No, this one would not go on. It was to the point of pulling it off and using like a magnifier. I didn't even use reading glass at the time, but I'm using like someone's glasses in the shop and a magnifier. And I'm cleaning spline by spline by spline, looking for a wave, nothing. I couldn't get the joint to go fully in and click.
Yeah.
So Gerard's like, well, what are you going to do? Now it's like midnight. I was like, listen, we can't leave the car here on the lift because the shop's got to work in the morning and I got to get home anyway. I said, you know what? It's on like 80% of the way. The knuckle is on. The nut is on. I said, it can't come off because it's captured. All it could do is go on more. So I'm driving it. Fuck this. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I got a hold of Lenny the next day and I told him the story. And he starts laughing. He says, yeah. He goes, we've seen that happen here a lot. I'm like, what do you mean? We got a lot of Audi joints that did that. I'm like, so what do you do? He goes, well, I go to the parts room and I get an axle. I'm like, son of a bitch. But those were before the days of rebuilt axles. Now
right, yeah.
rebuilt axle for like $40 now,
Yeah.
Back then you had to have it rebuilt for like 120. So I said, I'm going to ride it out, and it lasted about 5-6 months, and then it finally blew out, and then I ended up buying an axle.
Yeah.
And I bought that long driver. It's like a 12-point driver to get the axle bolts out. I don't think I've used it since.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. It was back. My parents wanted a new car, and I told them, I said, well, we got a really good deal. It was a Service Manager's A6. This was early 2000, I guess, or 98 A6 or whatever. And I said, low miles, really clean car, and you know it's a nice car, Dad. And so my dad tell the owner at the dealership. She gives me the tags, keys to take it home. Take it home. Mom and Dad loves the car. They drive it. Writes the check. Go back, and I told him, I said, Dad, you need to get the extended warranty. Trust me.
Yeah.
Get the extended warranty on this car. This is not a cheap car. He's like, I never buy extended warranty. I said, Dad, you need the extended warranty. So he buys the extended warranty. And the first time the car goes in, he calls me up and says, damn, you were right about that extended warranty. It paid for itself in the first visit. And I said, those cars are really nice, but they're just so freaking expensive. You know,
at the shop now, there's 2 cars I've been servicing, an A6 and an A8.
Yeah.
Charged. And I can have either one of them because the one of them is the accountant's car, and the other one is, I forget who the other guy is that they know. And these guys, they both abused. I mean, the interiors of the cars are kept very nice and clean, but the A8, this guy he must aim for the curb and just dive bomb, because every time the car comes in, there's chunks missing out of the tire, chunks out of the rim. Like, what does this freaking guy do? I mean, I think he's a lawyer. He don't care. So they told him, Mike told me, he goes, listen, I could get either one of these cars for you, because he'd probably give you the AC. I'm like, and I said, you know what? From what I've been seeing, working on them and how to get at some of this stuff under the hood and the placement of things. I did valve cover gaskets on the 6, I think, a while ago. I was like, you know what? As much as I like this A8, I got to pass. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, it's crazy stuff there. And those, like I said, when they're right and when they're all together, man, they're nice running cars. But man, any little thing.
I tell you, the power on that thing is seamless. The brakes are like an F40. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get in trouble in that car in a second. It's got that 2-tone buffed leather interior. Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah. My like I said, my parents' A6 was a beautiful car, and it was blue metallic with white leather interior. Man,
wow,
man, the car was sexy. That was a beautiful car.
That's nice.
So, but it was crazy.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
They still have it at the shop. They took in out of an impound that Toyota FJ. And now they should have the title for it now. I got to decide if I want that. I was thinking about going over to the FJ. I love the look of that thing. It's just so cool.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
Yeah, it's.
Why was it impound? I mean, what was it?
The guy parked up the block from the one shop, and he worked at a company in town, and also the company had a facility in the city. So I guess he was taking a train, and I saw it. I was going through the car. He was just amassing tickets and just never paying. He had parking tickets for years that he didn't pay. And they finally said, the cops in town knew the car. They were ticketing it probably every week and just said, hey, you know what? All right, let's just impound it. They figure we're not getting paid for the tickets. They'd offer them. They every once in a while they'll come through probably with an amnesty deal.
Yeah.
You owe 10 grand, give us 4 and we'll let you go. And he was ignoring that too. So they finally said, screw you, we'll take your car.
Wow.
A deal where they get in touch with him, like he's bought some of the impounds before they even go to wherever they go.
Oh yeah.
This was one that he bought. So I gotta decide if I want it. I did a car, it's clean. The thing was only had one accident that was minor. It's got like 130,000 on it.
Really?
It's a Toyota though. So it's an 08.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I guess it's still what? That's what? 10. How old is that?
08, 18 is 10, 12 years.
12 years.
And I did the Carfax on it. The thing comes out with an average value of still like around 13 grand.
Yeah.
The 2013, the last year, they're still going for 30 grand. These things
Wow.
hold their value because people. It's like such a niche truck. People love these things,
Yeah.
and they're really holding their value. So I got to see. He's got to give me a number, and I got to decide if I want to give up the 5-speed and the fuel economy of my Mazda 3 for the aerodynamics of a brick. They say the windshields break like crazy because it's got the same profile as a Hummer. It's got that flat windshield.
Right. Yeah.
Hits it and just breaks it.
Yeah.
But and they say it does. The gas mileage suffers because of the way it's. It doesn't have that aerodynamic flow. It's it's great for off road. It's take it through a river or up a mountain, but
and like you have all that. You are living in the jungle.
The rivers and mountains of Long Island. I could take it out on the beach. We do have, we can get a beach pass and go out on the beach with it. It's got an onboard inverter. It's got a 400-watt inverter built into the thing.
Yeah.
So you can run an air compressor, air it down and take it out on the beach.
That's it's funny because you living in the concrete jungle, right?
Yeah.
And Molly was probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8, I guess. I don't know. She was young, little, and it was one of these take your daughter to work day,
Yeah.
And it was funny because she's in the front of the truck, and we're driving down, and I was going down down into the city, and actually Little Mexico down in Langley Park, Tacoma Park area, and I go up underneath the Beltway, and I look over at Molly, and I said, "Welcome to the jungle,"
Yeah.
and you can see her little head, the little gears in her head. She's like looking around, and man, she's like looking, and it was so funny. It was like, I said, "Well, what's wrong?" And she goes, "I don't see any elephants or giraffes or any." She's thinking jungle. I said, "No. We're in the concrete jungle now. I mean, we're down in the city, And it was so funny. So,
Right.
Every time, when they ride with me or they go with me, every once in a while, she'll always remember that. She goes, "I remember I was looking for giraffes and elephants and monkeys and all kinds of stuff." And I said, "Well, this is the concrete jungle down here."
Right.
It's the big city.
The realities of life.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, tomorrow's Friday. I'm supposed to get the Ratchet.
Okay.
The blue Ratchet. So I should load all that stuff and ship it out this weekend.
Sweet.
And you'll see that in the middle of the week, I guess. So
excellent.
Hopefully all that. And other than that, I'll let you know what the total is. Okay. On that, give you a heads up.
I'll see the 3 in the morning on Thursday, I guess. If I'll monitor my account at 3 a.m. and watch it. There we go.
Yeah, I'll get the text. Like, what the hell's going on?
What you doing, man? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got involved in something this week. This is a friend of mine, one of my go-to guys. The guy that had that Fiat with the clutch cable. He's one of my go-to guys. He knows electrical, electronics, plumbing, mechanical. We kind of bang off each other all the time. And he asked me, he says, "Listen," he goes, I don't know if you want to get involved in this. He goes, a friend of a friend bought an old car and he needs some welding done on it. He says, you want to get in? I'm like, "What do you mean? You want me to work on this guy's car?" He goes, "No, you know anybody who?" I said, "Well, what car is it? Like, how old are we talking?" He goes, "I don't know. Maybe it was like 70s or something." I'm like, "Well, yeah, 4." He sends me a picture. The guy bought a 59 Oldsmobile Super 88.
Wow.
4-door. So I said, okay. He gets me the guy's number. I call this guy last night. I talked to him. You want to talk about a guy who has no plan. This guy is actually a musician. He writes music. He plays it. He produces it. But he got involved in this project. And I said, what made you get that car? I thought he was going to tell me it was his grandfather's. Because, even from the picture, it looked a little rough, beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Glass in it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I figured it was like through the family. And then I would say, I get it. He goes, no, I just always wanted he's got 2 kids that are like driving age. And he's given one kid, I think it's his Mercedes or his BMW or something. He goes, I always wanted something older. I always wanted a car like from the 50s or something. I was like, wow, okay. So I said, so what's the connection to this car? I said, was it someone you know? Was it in the family? He says, no, I was looking online. I found it. It was out in the Midwest. It was like in Arizona or something. And the guy had it. He goes, and I actually never saw it in person. I feel and had him ship it to me. Right. So I'm thinking either this guy was like a body man in his last life or he knows something I don't know. No, he was just, I said, well, was it what you expected? He said, well, a little less than what I expected. Basically there's like every panel has holes in it. The floors are all gone. The trunk is gone. The interior is dry rotted to hell and shot. And the engine, the top end was off the engine, so the cylinders were exposed. They all rusted.
Oh my God.
So he started with, I said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, can you get patch panels for this car? I said, because to my knowledge, not available. He goes, no, there's nothing available. I said, okay. I didn't think so. So he's had a couple guys come over and do a little welding here, a little welding there. I said, I think you're going about it the wrong way. I said, when you do major panels like that, you want to brace the car, brace the body. I said, if the floor structure sags and you weld in it, I said, there's a whole can of worms that you could be getting into. But what he did do was, he pulled the interior all out. He had to do that. And he said, yeah, and I had a guy come over and, the gasketing on the front and rear windows were just dry rotted and it was gone. He goes, so I got a guy replacing those. I'm like, you're replacing the windshield gaskets before you have anything else done on this car. Like, talk about ass backwards.
Yeah.
The guy has no plan. So I said, what are you gonna do about that?
Sounds like
what?
It sounds like the start of Christine, right? When remember the
Right.
guy put the windshield wipers on the cracked windows.
On a cracked windshield, right.
And that guy goes, what a dumbass.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I felt like Darnell. So that's 2 Christine references in one night for that. So I said to him, what are you going to do about the engine? He says, well, I looked into it. It's a 392 or 394. He goes, you really can't find those. They're not around. And this one has been opened, so I don't have the parts for it. He goes, so I got an engine. I got a Pontiac 350 with an automatic transmission, and I want to put that in the car. I said, really? I said, do you have any idea what it's like to put an engine from a 60s or 70s car into a 50s chassis? They were totally different. The architecture was totally different. The mounting systems were totally different. It's like Fabrication City. Well, I got a friend who's going to help me. He goes, and the big thing is, that car had a generator, and I really don't want to have a generator. I was like, well, you don't have to have a generator on the original engine. You can convert to an alternator, but that's a whole nother story. So again, I'm trying to follow his thought process, and I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
So I said to him, listen, I happen to have a friend who's the president of the Long Island Oldsmobile Club. Let me reach out to him. I reach out to him today. He gets back to me. He sends me a Craigslist ad. Guy selling a 394 with a tranny running, can be demonstrated. He wants like $1,300 for it. And I'm looking at it, already has an alternator on it, 4-barrel engine. So I'm going to send this to this guy and say, look, this is what you should do. Here's your original engine and tranny. They'll go right in that car with no BS whatsoever. But yeah, you like trying to follow someone else's path of logic is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, John. Yeah. So he wanted, somebody to do these floors. And I said, listen, my buddy's shop, I said, they would do it at the shop. He goes, well, I can't drive the car or transport it. It would have to be towed. I'm like, yeah, he's got flatbeds. But, I said, be prepared. You're going to pay time and labor. I said, there are no patch panels, so it's going to be fabrication.
Yeah.
And what he's going to do is he'll probably tell you the guy will start work on the car, and he'll have a yellow legal pad, and because he did it with me. I said, he'll clock in, he'll have the date, the time, and he'll write down how many hours he worked and what he did that day. And those hours will get multiplied by whatever rate he wants to charge you. I said, and that's what you're going to have to pay. He goes, yeah, I know it's going to get it. I said, listen, you have an oddball car here. It's going to be, I said, and all that work he's going to do, you're going to put a carpet over and you're never going to see it. I said, so the thousands of dollars that you're going to spend money on, you're never even going to see it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But you gotta, I said, you couldn't buy like an old Vista Cruiser or buy something so you had a chance of getting a part for, you know? Oh, because I just think the 50s cars, the back is so distinct and the front, the grill. I'm like, yeah, listen, you're thinking like an artist. Those cars are beautiful.
Yeah.
Awkwardness. I said, but that's a 50s vehicle for you.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, spend the most money you can, because you're going to spend it later anyway. So you might as well spend it up front and get something that's already been done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Or real close, something. Somebody's already done all the hard part and ran out of time and money.
I mean, I told
aggravation.
I said, I'm finishing up my own car now. I said, but I did the majority of the work. I didn't do the paint or body work. I said, but I gave that to the professional to do. I said, I do all the mechanical myself and electrical. So I know I was a little bit ahead of the game, I said, unless you know you have a bank account that you can dip into, I said, it's going to get quite expensive. So,
did you ever get your trim back from the buffing guy, the rest of it?
Like freaking, just like beautiful. I mean, like he did. I had him do the drip rail trim, which I already paid a guy to do years ago. And then I put it on, and it matches the belt line molding. It looks like it's like jewelry on that new paint. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. It was funny. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. One of the guys from Ken Diggett had a video where they were making trim.
Wow.
They had the stainless steel. They had a block of it, and they were cutting it out, and they were making the trim for a car that they were working on. It was a 4-minute video or something, but I was like, man, I wish I could have enough patience to do that.
Right.
I can start out pretty good with the patience, but usually I just lose my once you lose that point, you're just like, screw it. And
that's when you got to walk away. Yeah, you got to walk away. I mean, I did that.
Funny.
There were many nights, many days when I was putting my car back together. I'd be out there thrashing in the garage, and I'd come in, and my wife would be like, "What's the matter?" She goes, looks like it was a bad day." She goes, "You're in earlier than normal." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done for today." She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I went like 3 steps forward and 5 steps back." I said, "Some of the stuff I did, the other day I had to undo." I said, "That's the way it goes." I said, "I'm going back out there tomorrow." I said, "This is where guys close that door. I mean, if it's bad enough or if it's cumulative enough, I've seen it happen. Guys will close that door and they just don't go out there. And then next time they go out, they don't even look at the car, but they put a box on it, and then they put like the pool toy on it. And then it's like, next thing you know, you don't see the car." I said, "We've all done that." I said, and then because in their head, there's a blockage, there's a block. And I said, "That's not going to happen." I said, it can beat me up. It can kick my ass a couple times, and it will. I said, "But I'm going to come back and I'm going to win." I said, "I'm not. This car is getting done." And that's how I was telling this guy. The story I told him was my friend Paul has a GTX, a 69 GTX that he's had for many years. And Paul is another one of those go-to guys who can do anything, mechanical, machine-wise. He's also a guitar player. I mean, very, very talented. And he tore into that car, and he had to do floor pans, and he had to do rocker panels. He did quarter panels, inner wheelhouses, sail panels, all in a 1.5 car garage. He did.
Wow.
I mean, he did I mean, he was going guns blazes, and I was like, great, man. You know, he's making real progress. In the winter, even he was out there every night. And then in the spring, he puts a fender on and the door on, and forget about lining up. The door wouldn't close. And he called me because I don't know what happened, you know. And he had the car like jack stand up. It was flat and level. He had braced it. I mean, it was, you know, I'm like, Paul, you did everything right.
Uh-huh.
I said, I'm not a body man. I said, but my buddy, you know, I have a good friend TJ. I said, he's done a lot of heavy work. Let me see if he'll come take a look at it. So he comes over, one look at the car. He said, this car was hit. And Paul says, yeah, before I got it. He goes, no, this car was hit pretty freaking hard. He goes, now you're looking at all new sheet metal, you know? So Paul says, well, how do you know? He goes, look here in the inner door, he picked out a crease there, and there was a crease on the transmission tunnel, a little one. And he picked out something else under by the dash. He goes, this is all accident damage. He's like, you know, I never even thought of that. I thought it was just production, you know, more. He goes, no, that's all from the accident. He goes, basically, this car was tweaked and needed to be untweaked. He goes, you just basically welded everything in solid. That's why this door will never fit. So,
Oh my gosh.
And then he knew what he had to do. And without saying it, I mean, they did say it, but he said, you got to cut all this out and get back to that skeletal structure, square it, get the door on, square that, and then go in and do your repairs. And you could almost see, it was like a Macy's balloon. You just saw the air come out. And he was making such progress. The car sat. He pushed it outside, covered it again. He didn't touch it for years. He, you know, and you know, I didn't even want to bring it up to him because I knew it was such a sore point. And he did it. There was nobody to blame. He fucked up. So we talk about occasionally, a little here, a little there. And he was telling me he just built a new garage. He's got it done now. It's a nice, big, oversized garage. He's putting a lift in it. And now his plan is, actually what he did is when my car went to the body shop for the first time to get the rough work done, he had asked me, he was coming up from under the water and said, I want to do something with my GTX. He goes, but every shop I go to, they say, no, we don't touch restorations. We're not going to get involved. He goes, you know anybody? He goes, well, your friend TJ work on this car. I said, you know what? The guy who's working on my car, they don't get scared by rust. They know what to do. I said, let me ask him. So Mike said, yeah, I'll take a look at it. So he went over to his house one night, local, looked at it, brought that car in. He had it for like 2.5 weeks. Paul said, look, I just need this, and this done. I'm doing everything else. Okay, they did this, and this. 2.5 weeks, sent the car out. And now he can start where he left off. So now, fast forward a couple of years, the garage is done, and now the plan is the GTX is going to go in, and he's going to get back on it again. Yeah. So he will get back on it and finish it, but you know, so many guys never ever do.
Yeah.
Know? And that's the sad part. You know, that's why I'll kick you in the ass. Like, just take a box off the car. You know, just take one box off.
Yeah. No, I mean,
box off. If you can see the paint, then it's like, hey, you know, it's the stupidest little thing that'll kickstart you. And everybody's different. We're all different.
Well, it was funny because like the charge pipes on the F-350, though the original ones were plastic, and of course the ones I bought were metal. You know, they're the aftermarket. You know,
right.
And it was funny because they just didn't fit right, so I had to do a little tweaking. You know, I had to make sure I got in that right mindset.
Right.
And it was kind of funny because, you know, I of course I also Googled them, and the one complaint was that, you know, they would blow the hose off, you know, the lip for the ring where the silicone hose went on wasn't up and you know, they would blow off, you know.
Yeah.
And luckily I had that tool, redid everything, you know, and like I said, I was like, man, this feels pretty good. Tinkering, and you know that when you put on aftermarket stuff that you have to, if you already have that mindset about, you know, that you're going to have to make sure it fits and engineer, you know,
right.
The part. But so, because I tell you, man, I walked into a shop the other day and they were putting some four-wheel disc on a G body, and I told the guy, I said that kit won't fit that 10 bolt. It's for a 12 bolt. You're gonna have to redesign that bracket, because you'll never get the 14-inch rotors on,
Right.
And he just looked at me and said, I don't know how to fabricate. I said, well, you better learn, because it ain't going to go on.
They're putting 14-inch rotors in the rear?
Yeah, or 12 or whatever. I know it was a big, because I ran into this with another shop of mine. It was the guy had bought the wheel weld set, and it was for a 12 bolt, not a 10 bolt.
Right.
And
I hope he bought bigger rims.
yeah, well, the guy was putting these 17s on or something. He had a set of wheels from a Corvette or something.
Okay.
So
yeah,
but some of those guys, a lot of these guys, they don't understand all that, or they don't understand. They don't know that, and they buy this stuff, and it's like it's not even meant for this, or what,
right.
Got to make it,
See,
and by that time they get half the stuff hung on it and realize it doesn't fit.
My mentality is exactly the opposite. I assume nothing's going to fit, and everything has to be
Right.
cut, massaged, re-drilled. That's how I go about it. Like, okay, if it fits, then something's wrong. It's like this guy with the olds. He was telling me, I have to do the brakes because it only has that one master cylinder. Like, yeah, you got a single circuit master cylinder. You need a dual circuit. So he's like, yeah, I already ordered the lines for the back. So he's already done the rear brakes on the car. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's pristine. So he did rear brakes and he changed the line over the rear and the hoses. I was like, dude, why? He goes, I got to get the line to the front. I'm like, and he's dealing with like stainless steel tube. I said, yeah, but you can't order that yet because you have to get it for the dual master. You're going to have a combination valve. You're going to have a couple other things. I said, and I'm assuming you're buying stainless, so you're not reflaring and bending that stuff.
Yeah.
And he says, and then he had a big problem. He goes, yeah, I don't know what to do about the fuel line because they don't make that. I said, well, okay, you got a steel fuel line. It's 5/16 and it's rusted. I said, what I did in my car is I went from Jegs or Summit. I bought a 25-foot roll of 3/8 aluminum tubing. I said I ran it down the chassis line, put it into the chassis, use those rubber-coated P-clamps. I said it's a hose termination at the pump, one at the pickup. I said, piece of cake, done deal. I think the roll of tubing cost like not even $40. He's like, oh, wow, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, you can do that. So I don't know if this car is ever going to, but the guy is this amazing, it's almost like he's an idiot savant. He sees all these problems, but doesn't pay any attention to them. And I'm thinking maybe that's the beauty of it, that he's not letting himself get stuck by the limitation of what he can't do. Maybe this guy is just brilliant like that. And that's my problem in life. I get stuck because I stop myself from what I think I can't do. That's why I do body work.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, my biggest problem is I get halfway in and say, "Oh, I could make this better," or try to change something. Of course, I've gotten at least better not trying to recreate the wheel. That's That's usually where I get myself in trouble because I'll try to recreate the wheel and just leave it alone.
Right.
So, but I don't know how these. I mean, it's amazing that I've ran into people like that. That's like the guy that he's up. I see him on Sunday mornings, up here at the car show, and he's got a '65 Mustang Fastback that he bought for him and his kid to tinker on, And one day, I get up there and I can just smell the gas, I can just smell the raw gas, And I'm like, hey, man, what's wrong with your car? I mean, it's a lot of gas. He goes, yeah. I guess, man, I got this hesitation, and they told me I needed a bigger carburetor. And I was like, well, that doesn't make sense, but okay. And he's like, well, now I still have that hesitation. They say I need to change the rear. And I'm like, dude, the car ran with the 4100 on it. You know what I'm saying? And you put an 850 on it. And your bigger is not better. I mean, you're taking it to the wrong guy, you know? And I said, all you got to do is probably, tweak the jets or the squirter, and that's probably the issue.
Uh-huh.
And he had it in his head, and I was just like, it must be nice just to throw money at endless repair,
Right.
It's crazy.
See, that's different. That's a guy who's just blindly trusting what someone else is telling him. And it's that old adage of, bigger must be better. If the little 600 that's on this car, that can't be big enough. My it's a fast car. I need at least a 780 or an 850 be even better. Like, but you don't understand, we'll plug the numbers into the formula. We'll find out you need like a 539. Like 600 is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because you don't go over 6,000 RPM ever,
Right. Well, that was funny because I learned that when I had the tunnel ram on, and it ran the best with the two 4100s instead of 650s. When I bought the manifold, it had two 650s on it.
Yeah.
And it ran. It just drank a lot of gas, and then I came across another 4100 4-barrel, factory 4-barrel, and I put those both on. Man, that was the best that car ever ran, and it had the two 4100s on it. So,
what size are they?
The 4-barrel 41. It's very. It looks identical to a Holly 600.
I know. I just rebuilt one last year for a guy, but I don't remember what the CFM rating was.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was the 4100. I think it was 390. I think it was a 390 CFM or something like that.
Okay.
I think that's for some reason that sticks in my head. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, those 4100s were great.
Well, that's the thing. People don't get it that the smaller carburetor, you'll create more velocity, more charge with the smaller CFM because you're moving the same amount of air through a smaller funnel, and the velocity is just greater.
Yeah.
And so the response is quicker. You'll get a snappier response.
One of my shops, they have a 66 Corvette with
Tri-power?
No, a 350 horsepower small block.
Yeah.
And this poor guy's lost his ass on his car. He's done. They rebuilt. Just gone through this motor, and a lot of the parts that they got were just crap China stuff. That supposedly had a name next to it, but just I guess it was knockoff or aftermarket. Fake.
Right.
So they went round and round, and it was funny. It had a factory Holly on it, 4-barrel.
Sure.
Not a Rochester spread bore, but just a regular Holly factory. And it had been manhandled and tweaked on so much. So Pete called Holly, gave him the tag number, and they said, "Oh yeah, we can rebuild you a carburetor for that factory setting."
Okay.
It would be factory replace, OE factory thing. $1,500.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I've heard of guys doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
But the carburetor came in, they put it on, just like purred like a kid.
So, to pay for peace of mind isn't always such a bad thing,
Yeah. But I was like, man, you can't wait to get rid of this car.
Yeah.
I tell you, he had they had put a small roller cam in it, I think, and he was having a lifter problem. I mean, it was just crazy stuff, man.
A lot of those roller setups, you have to do some clearancing in the channels. They're not always plug and play.
Yeah, that's one of the things he had problems with, because the hole going through the head where the push rod went in had too much play.
Uh-huh.
And it was worn out, and of course, you got up to a higher RPM, and it would pop out.
You got to use guide plates, push rod guide
Yeah.
plates, which some of the Corvette engines had, and I mean, every Jegs and Summit have those. They're cheap, It's like easy. It's an easy thing. Yeah,
So it was crazy. I had one motor. I had the plates I had to cut and then re-weld because the spacing. It took it was a lot of, like I said, you got to have a clear head sometimes when you get involved. It's just like you said, this isn't the fix, you gotta, they'll give you a base type thing. So
right.
I don't know. Oh, well. All right, Ray, I got to get my credit cards ready.
Nice. Heat that machine up.
Yeah, I gotta put couple quarters in and turn the knob, get it going, get it ready.
Crank it up.
The flex capacitor.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a heads up when the stuff is coming, and I don't know if you need anything else or whatever. Be safe. Take care.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Ray. Take care.
Okay, Brian. Good night.
Bye-bye.